a constitutional convention met in Austin to consider an annexation proposal from the United States. The question was submitted to the voters, who approved the proposal later that year. The U.S. Congress accepted the state constitution in a joint resolution to admit Texas as a state, which was signed by President John Tyler on December 29, 1845. Since independence in 1836, there have been 6 constitutions established as the law of the land. The last state constitution was adopted in 1876 and is still in effect. The documents that captured the movements of the people building new governments, new livelihoods, and forging new frontiers are preserved for posterity in the state archives.
Amazing.
Freeze!
Library.
Really? Picking up or dropping off?
Dropping off.
Wow. Oh, hello, Dad.
All Things LV, going beyond the badge. In Leon Valley, our officers don't just serve and protect, they care. When Officer Diaz and Officer Espinosa noticed trash...
The last time I saw her, she basically...
Oh, wow. That was pretty cool. Maybe sometimes it does. I know that a lot. I saw the image. I just don't like I'm concerned about it. But when I grabbed her computer and started listening the first time I heard it, I was like, whoa, what did I do? Well, maybe I know. We go. I see this one's already off.
That was good, right?
Yeah, it was really good.
I was so happy.
Like, there they are.
And I was so happy about that student group. And then that other guy, oh, I'm so glad you called me.
Every 7 weeks, I'm in there. So mine is every 3 months.
I hope we have room for them.
No stress. That was a little bit of a drive, man. Traffic, and then there's an accident right in front of the city hall, so you couldn't get in.
It just happened.
Yeah.
It just happened because yeah.
Right. Well, they had you couldn't get in because the fire truck and stuff. I was like, please let me park. Please let me park.
I should have called you earlier, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. No, I was already on my way here. It takes me that long to drive here from work.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an hour drive. Yeah, I am.
Kids ready for spring break or what's the,
We haven't even talked about it yet.
okay, the kids aren't anxious about the next
I
holiday?
haven't heard a word.
Is it that first week in March? I think
It's like the 8th through the 13th or something like that.
right after Earthlight.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get us, oh, we got a minute. I didn't pick up one of these.
Oh, well, I would have gotten you one. I'm sorry.
Very good. Had lunch with my dad today. So. He is. He's adjusting.
Sure, it's hard.
Yeah.
Speakers are on, guys.
I was gonna ask her to do the pledge. Sure.
Okay, sure,
Okay, just, and then
absolutely.
she can do it next time.
All right.
I always try to go around the table, you know. Let me ask her. Betty, will you sing?
Okay, it's 6 o'clock. Good evening and welcome to the City of Leon Valley City Council regular meeting. Today's Tuesday, February 17th, 2026, and it's approximately 6 p.m. And as you can see, we do have all City Council members present and we do have a quorum. And I've asked Mayor Pro Tem Betty Heil to please lead us in the pledge. If you would please stand. Thank you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Agenda item number 2, the City Council shall meet in executive session to discuss the following. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.072, deliberations about real property to discuss the value of .552 acres of land, Lot 7, Dirt V-Murchison Hebner Subdivision, City of Leon Valley, Bexar County, Texas, also known as the Silo property. So we will convene into executive session, but we will be back here at 6:30 to start the regular meeting, whether we're finished or not. So thank you so much. So we're standing in recess until then. Thank you.
Gentlemen.
Thank you.
Got on any committees yet?
I'm on two committees. I'm gonna talk all about it in my presentation. I'm on economic development advisory committee and parks. I'm on alternate for parks.
Try to get on that zoning committee.
Good.
Chairman over there in the zoning committee is a felon. He's not letting any felons on our committee. He issues some background checks for everybody. They have felons, you can't run for office. Should they be on the committee? That guy's part of the first amendment.
No one said anything about it yet. Like my first, when I remember, I can do it through TechSoup. I get it like for a lot cheaper. But like the last 2 years, I forgot to do it through TechSoup. It's been so careless. But I also use like 16 News Suite for things as well, like for our videos. Things like that, Fit Radio. No one's yelled at me. I paid so much I did think it's all together. But, so I know, I've read that there's a way to convert in like normal Adobe, but I wasn't sure. I haven't looked at it. I'm redoing the whole website because it's easier for me to go page by page as I redo it to make sure every page is accessible. And so, but I know there's like, when I update the policies, those will need to be, yeah, and I can get a digital version, so I don't have to do. How I designed it myself. So anything that we do, I can eat the cost of it because I only pay like $100 a year. Yeah, but I have to go in and completely, like, yeah, I do the whole site. So if there's something I need to change, then I'm in there doing it. If it was actually coding, it would be easier for me. But it's what you see is what you get, which is what they had before I got there. And so it's like, I know the code that makes it work, why won't it work? You can use templates, but it's essentially just like adding different elements. And so I just kind of like throw a bunch of different things and see what I like. And that's what I mesh it. Most LIS degrees, not a lot of LS degrees, but a lot of the LIS, which is the difference with the I, is the information. And so that's a lot of like web design, metadata, that type of information. So I have a web design background before that. Like my career, like my job was, it's funny, he feels so bold because now it's just media or communication. Like here's what a communication area is. It's new media communication. So it was like graphic design, computer programming, and journalism mashed together. But at the time it was like news sites and blogs. And now it's everything. So every time I say that, I'm like, it doesn't even exist anymore because everything is just it's either media or communications, like that's what a communication degree is now. So back in the day, before it was, communication was mostly speech.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for right now.
I know, I keep getting a lot of random like city AI things. If they look interesting, I'll just forward them to y'all. I know Crystal never talked to me. She said something was coming out, so I know I forwarded you one thing because it was especially after that conversation I had with her this morning. I don't know why. I get a lot of weird city stuff. And I have to check people too. Like I got invited to speak at something infrastructure based. And they did mean it to go to me, but I had to ask them. I was like, are you sure you're not trying to contact my public works department? And they were like, no, you're the person we meant to contact. And I was like, okay. I mean, I 100% believe libraries should be in this conversation when we're looking at infrastructure in the city. I also know that 99% of people leave us out, so.
We should be.
Yeah, we should be part of the conversation. So thank you. This is not a good time for me. Because I have TLA at the end of March. So I'm hoping my mom is more settled by then, but and I have 2 presentations. So I submitted 4 proposals because the chances of getting one picked. So because they want more people, they very rarely give you 2. I have 2 with an hour between on link the last day of conference. And then they reached back out to me to do one of the ones that didn't get picked as a webinar for continuing education credit in just the new TLA learning format. So in May. And I was like, I just put 4 because I wanted to do 1. And I'm really bad at saying no. Yeah. And then for TMLDA, we're doing TMLDA is sponsoring a session at TML on Beyond the Books, the return on investment in public libraries. And I was just like, I have conversations on library return on investments and calculating and stuff like that, and just feel your interest. And I'm like, yes, so now I'm tied to that deal, which is thankfully in San Antonio this year. Yeah. So I said, since we were probably going to be there anyway. Part of my unit is chair-elect, but it's going to be there. So I just have to go as chair, assuming I have to go as the paid next I'm trying to get all the duties checked off. Once I do this and this and this. And I just fall into them.
I know also.
Was it the downtown? The downtown?
Now he works it out.
I wanted to say,
Chicago food is not represented, so we have Chicago style restaurants. Let me look at it. I'm gonna let you, they came at this moment, let me tell you something. A true Chicago is not
True Chicago.
Gonna choose the, it's cool, but it's you know, it's Italy will be on spot, so you work with that, how you know you have to be Chicago. It's Italy.
That's part of the dialogue. The real pizza. The real pizza.
But that I did absolutely correct. And I put it on Wrigley Mill Grill is across the street. It's like that Target and stuff, it's right. If we should go there, how we somewhere. All of it, salt, especially salt. It's called Wrigleyville Grill. It's like Wrigleyville, Wrigleyville Grill. And when I first went there, I had to find everything Chicago. But when I first got there, there's a picture. And he's having lunch. It's pretty great. So all the time. Where were you at? That's incredible. I've never met anybody. I've never met somebody. And that's why introduce you to members of my district. I'm sure you will just they are. My daughter would love it. She doesn't think that girls do things like that. So I literally be like, yes, I do. Yeah. She only thought that I don't know where to. R.C. Banadu? Good, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
So I'm just trying to teach her that gender-specific things are not things like riding a motorcycle or her house. I commend you for doing that. Seriously. Oh, yeah, up there, you're not. Listen, I'm rather technology. I'm sorry. Cause he acted up over here. He just called it right on. It's okay. I'm gonna give him a break. I give him a break over here. Give him a break. He's passing 75, so I thought he literally, you know, okay. He does not. That's a lie.
You do whisper. You know you talking about it. When you talking about something, you think it's. One is wasn't a bomb. Booted into the White House. I wouldn't want to be in a booth with Carl, Bill right in the middle of some really crazy stuff. We need a booth.
Oh, really? She called me right away.
It just kept on coming to land, taking off and landing. What happened today? I did the end. But if you got an
So you said you have grandchildren? My mom and dad have 17 grandchildren. Do your grandchildren? Yeah. Do you know if they're there? I think that's
Their daddy in Korea.
I don't know. It's famous.
They have a church.
That was
So you're ready to say, you got to come on over. Everybody sees those parents.
Yeah, look at him, yeah. So the mom is a dark hair?
No, well, mom is. I love my grandkids. They are, there's a reason we have kids when we're young.
Yeah.
Looks just like his dad's military working on. Then we add.
And all the people I did, all the men. And a lot of people my age were probably.
I always said my dad would sit there and have a paper clip. I remember my mom.
And I worry about it.
And then you learn.
Yeah. I don't watch it. And it will show up, but I have not. I'll just turn it on and listen. Oh, no, girl, Bernie still goes to the currency. Bernie ain't getting no IG. She ain't no IG. But she is like, if I was to see it on us, it's because I was trying to. Everything I've been trying to, so no, I did not see. Social media. I typically Facebook is not going away. It will definitely
I didn't know anything about it until Philip calls me at about 5:15 or 5:20. I can't believe it. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. And I know more than that. Anyway,
It's not good.
it's all good.
Well, Brewster's all over the place.
She had no idea. Hey, John. How are you? Okay. Where's my pen? There it is. All right, we are reconvening into executive session. Excuse me. We're reconvening into executive session at 6:31. Thank you. I appreciate it. And we move to citizens to be heard, agenda item number 4. Are there any citizens in our chambers that would like to address the council? Please come forward and state your name and where you generally reside, and you have up to 3 minutes. Ms. Tiffany, go ahead.
I have a presentation that I wanted to show.
Is this on your agenda item? Number 2? 6.2, is that where you wanted to present that, or is that something totally different?
This is my personal address to the city council.
But not on an agenda item?
Not on it.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I knew that you had this agenda item 6.2, so I thought it was related. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
You have up to 3 minutes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How can I get it on the screen?
Well, we have Dr. Caldera, I know you're, I thought we didn't use
So
any.
it is on so it looks like it is for agenda item number 2.
Mhm.
Is this about the
The
grant
build,
proposal?
the grant?
That, right? Or is it completely?
Okay, I can do it like that. That's
Yeah.
fine.
If
But
it-
it was really just a personal introduction about me. It's titled that, but the rest of this
Oh,
is who
okay.
am I?
Okay.
Just
Okay.
because I thought it would be kind of weird if we presented about the program and people don't really know who I am.
Okay.
I mean, everybody know who I am.
Ooh, you don't have HDMI. Oh, there it
It's
is.
on the other side.
Let's see.
Okay, so I know it's just, I have 3 minutes, so it's just a short kind of introduction about me and who I am. Because I actually just had someone ask me if I was serving on any committees, so. Fine. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
First, thank you all for allowing me to present the city council today. My name is Tiffany Bradfield, and I just wanted to introduce sorry. Okay, thank you for allowing me to present today. I just wanted to come and introduce myself to city council. I mean, city council knows me because I've been here, but other people maybe don't. So, who am I? I'm a founder and director of Trains and Associates. That's my company. I deal with workforce development and community engagement. I'm a homeowner in the city community. I've hosted the Leon Valley National Night Out, which had a really good turnout. We did Santa Comes to Cena with the church, CJC Life. I'm on the Economic and Community Development Advisory Board, and I'm an alternate for the Leon Valley Parks Commission, and also I do TikTok Live AI workshops at Leon Valley Library. And again, just some of the highlights about the city. This is a quick one. I want you guys to see. Sorry, but that was just a showing of the when Santa came to Cena. So I know there has been a history about like Cena and the development and everything, but I just wanted you guys to know I live there. Me and my husband live there, and I really appreciate you guys for allowing that development to happen. That's me and my husband on closing day. That's our little house right there before we had grass. So, and then just again, I'm not going into what is already on the agenda, but I also hold classes at the Texas Workforce Commission, and that's our graduating class. So I'm pretty proud of that. And let's see. Yeah, so I won't go into any of that. But again, I just wanted to present to City Council because some people had asked, like, who am I, right? And me and my husband, we come to City Council means that I am a committed citizen in this community. We have a vested interest. We're homeowners, right? I serve on committees, and I do the churches, CJC Life, and St. John's Baptist. So I just wanted, if anyone had any questions about who I am, I just wanted to give you a bit of insight. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah,
for allowing
mine's
me to
going off
present.
too. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Good evening, Mr. Diaz, and welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Abraham Diaz, 6014 Cayman Drive. I'll be very quick. Three items I have. One, don't forget, we need 6 officers. 6 officers for the FY27 budget. 6, not 4, not 3, not 1, 6. 2, Seneca West construction, horrible. I found a porta potty in my front yard yesterday when I came home. A porta potty next to my mailbox. So when I went to go get the mail, the stench that was coming out there. Thank you, David Demeline, for getting it moved out. The dust that's being created. I know it's a construction site, I know it is, but they got to do something about dust mediation. I got this stuff inside my house. I wipe my floors off, I can mop it the next day, got dust inside. So please have somebody talk to the contractor. 3, $1.4 million renovation for the swimming pool, and we have to come up with $800,000. $800,000 for a swimming pool to only make $30,000 a year. We're going to spend $800,000 to make $30,000. That's bad math. I think everybody up there went through the public school system or something, because you all didn't get good grades in math. To make $800,000, to spend it to make $30,000. I mean, this is ridiculous. Our police chief needs 6 officers. $800,000 can go a long way in the police department. He's got 2 cars that were totaled. He's got to replace them at $65,000 each. What are our officers supposed to respond with? Bicycles, scooters now? What? I mean, that is ridiculous that we are looking at spending $800,000. And we brought up quality of life right here. You know, when we were fighting the improvement back in the back, we talked about quality of life. Council ignored it. Now we're talking about quality of life for the swimming pool. Ignore that too, okay? Because what's more important is the safety of these citizens here, so that way when they call the police department shows up. When they call the fire department shows up. Not like me when I call and San Antonio Fire Department showed up at my house, okay? We pay taxes so that they back there respond to us. So if we are looking at $800,000 to spend, maybe I need to start calling up Channel 4, Channel 12, Telemundo, everybody, get them in here and start figuring out why we are going to spend $800,000 of our tax money for a swimming pool and only make $30,000 a year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Diaz. Do appreciate that. All right. Mr. Hoyt, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, and Council members. My comment this evening is regarding the concept of adding acreage to Rimkus Park. Enhancing our parks should be considered an investment in our community's future livability reputation that would benefit current residents and attract new residents. Any opportunity to add acreage to Rimkus Park should not be overlooked and should not be missed. The gravity of such an opportunity is worthy of extraordinary funding considerations, such as issuing bonds or selling nearby surplus real estate to create a larger and contiguous Rimkus Park complex. And again, to add, thank you for the hometown meeting, town hall meeting, and the city manager's good presentation, so we could help understand the finances. And so that's why I threw out the idea of some, bonds and selling some surplus property, et cetera. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hoyt. Do appreciate those comments. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Mr. Bowl?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Evan Bowl, 4 Stokes Counterfield. It's been quite a time in my absence. Wanted to share tonight my thoughts on the town hall that was presented. I was not there in person. I was watching it. My first question to state is, when you think about everything that has gone on in the city in the past perhaps 20 years, whether it's good or bad, could it have been better? Could the bad have been better, or could it have been worse? We will never know. However, it comes to the idea that decisions made by this council, the people who have sat on this council in the past 20 years, it's an inescapable fact. There has been some rumors after my filing. I'm sure many people thought I completely disappeared from the city. I did, in fact, I was out working on behalf of the city, citizens, making coalitions with the other city governments to decide how we were going to get our infrastructure funding without impacting our city budgets across Texas. Of course, I can't just advocate on behalf of one city without advocating on behalf of everybody at the state legislature. It just doesn't happen that way. That's how coalitions are built. But my thoughts more on that regarding the Bandera Road project, since we're talking about state involvement, was that I heard that we didn't have necessarily a date to start, the groundbreaking, except just a few years ago, I would say about between 3 and 4 years ago, we were at about an 80 to 90% positive start date between 2026 and 2029 of when we were going to break ground on this project. That was what we were told. Whether some or most of us believed it, those of us who have had more dealings with the state and how things actually occur, most of us probably didn't believe that. And that it's become a guaranteed long-term project, whether it's in the environmental clearances, whether we break ground, and then of course, just like every other state-involved project in the major highways, those are very long-term projects. So the promises that our city council and mayor have made to the citizens in regards to surrounding that, I feel have fallen completely hollow. We talked about investing in tomorrow. We've had approximately, let's say just for the sake of time, 15 tomorrows. And as city manager has stated, everything gets pushed to the next tomorrow. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Your time is up, Mr. Bull. Thank you for those comments. All right. Anyone else? Yes. Ms. Valdez, good evening and welcome.
My name is Elaine Valdez, and I'm from Pavona Place. The City of Leon Valley has a mission statement, and it includes a statement that says that we will prioritize economic development. Also, the city's vision statement says that we will strive to be economically dynamic. So these statements highlight our desire and value for economic well-being. My question now is, what has happened to the Economic and Community Development Advisory Committee? According to our city website record of committee meeting minutes, this committee has not met in the past 2 years. The Lion's Roar indicates that this committee meets as needed. They haven't been needed for the past 2 years. I checked this city volunteer application form, and it had a brief description of this committee, and it was very technical and brief, and I did not understand it. My final questions are, what is the role and function of this committee? What should or could they be doing to help our city with regard to economic and community development? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Valdez, for those comments. Appreciate that. All right. Anyone else? Okay. Seeing no one else, we'll go to agenda item number 5, possible action on issues discussed in executive session. If necessary, we are going to continue this discussion on March the 3rd in executive session, and so there's no action at this time. Presentation 6.1, and it's approximately 6:47. Presentation and discussion on the approval of the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, ACFR, for fiscal year 2025. And we have Debbie Frazier here, who's a CPA with Armstrong, Bond and Associates. And Debbie, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for having
me. You bet.
We performed the audit, and I do want to start by saying thank you to Carol. We mostly Carol and her staff. We kind of are very invasive for a week. We try not to be, but, we can't help it. That's our job. So I want to thank her for continuing to supply us information when we asked for it after we had left, and I think the audit actually went very well. So I am going to I know there's several new people, so I want to go over what's in the ACFR. So this book is your annual comprehensive financial report. It has a section that is an introduction, and that basically is written by the city manager and the finance director. The next section is the independent auditor's report, and that's on page 1. And you don't have to flip through it. I just was going to kind of give you an overview. But this is my opinion on your financial statements. This opinion can be unmodified, modified, or qualified. An unmodified, which you would not think is the best opinion, but that is the best opinion. And that is what you received. It means that after adjustments, your financial statements were fairly stated and materially correct. The next section is a management discussion and analysis. And again, it's from the city's point of view. And it goes over mainly the governmental wide, which are full accrual statements. So in governmental accounting, you present full accrual statements and modified accrual statements. Modified accrual statements are the way you budget. So that's what we're going to go over this evening. But the management discussion and analysis talks about the modified accrual and then kind of your budget to actual in your governmental funds. Then you have the fund financial statements on the modified accrual basis. This is the way you budget, and this is what we're going to talk about. We have notes to the financial statements that kind of go over, back up the numbers in the financial statements and your policies and procedures. And then there's other required supplementary information, budget to actual reports that, just provide additional information. I want to tell you that if you at any time have any questions after the meeting, please feel free to call me. My number's at the end. I think Mayor, Councilman Campos, and both Crystal and Carol have my number. Okay. So I'm going to kind of dive in. I went over the audit report and told you that you had an unmodified report, which is the best you can get. And it is basically after adjustments, we think your financial statements are fairly presented and materially correct. If you go to the fund financial statements, they start on about 21 and 22, which again, I'm just going to summarize these. At the end of 25, which was September 30th, 2025 is your year end, you had about 11.6 million in combined fund balance. And when I say combined fund balance, what I mean is this inhabits your general fund, your red light camera fund, your debt service fund, your street maintenance fund, and then all your other smaller special revenue funds that don't meet major fund status. So at the end of the year of that, you had total combined 16.9 million, and in the general fund alone, you had 11.6 million. If you're on page 21, you can look on the first column. Otherwise, I'll just tell you, your unassigned fund balance was 8.3 million. So that means it wasn't restricted, assigned, or committed for future use. That makes up about 7.5 months of average operating expenditures, which can be used to pay for any carried over projects like your hike and bike trail, capital outlay, emergencies, and other operating expenditures. Your fund balance for the general fund increased by $2.1 thousand. The budgeted, I actually said that wrong. And I'm going to turn to page 24. It actually increased by $2.1 million. Most of that was due to a surplus property sale, and that surplus property sale was $1,187,000. I think I'm a little behind. The overall revenues that you had, if you look at your comparison of budget versus actual, you brought in about $861,000 more in budget, or less in budget than you did, or than you had budgeted. So you had lower property taxes, so you budgeted a number and you brought in about $123,000, I think, lower than you had budgeted. Sales tax was higher. But again, you had budgeted last year to have a $1.9 million loss in the general fund. However, since you sold your property for almost 1.2 million, you ended up with a surplus of about 2.1 million. And the other reason that you had that surplus is because you budgeted for the hike and bike, a little over 2 million, and I think you spent about $345,000 on that. So that project is carrying over to the next year.
Debbie, I know you and I spoke today. Thank you so much for that. Would you just explain, I don't know if anybody else got that question, but on the other 7,918, and all of a sudden it jumped to 663,317, and you had a really perfect explanation of that. There are other funds that are not included in, and so now I just wanted to point that out to the council.
If you look at your financial highlights, you have the general fund, and these are all your fund balances at the end of the year. So this is what carries over to the next year. If you look at the general fund, you have 11 points. Well, I actually can't read that
11.5
anymore, which is a little embarrassing. But you had $11,596,984. Of that, you had $8.3 million, which is available next year to spend without kind of any other restriction on it. You have $1,085,000 that's attributed to economic development. Tree mitigation, it's assigned for tree mitigation of $668,975. So next year you would, or in years coming up, you would spend that on tree mitigation. You have an emergency fund committed for disasters of $1,250,000. That other fund balance is $7,918. That's your parks bucks. Then you also had public education and governmental, which is your PEG funds of $254,308. Those are all restricted for specific use. If you cut across all the way to the other non-major governmental funds, the question that the mayor had was, what is that $663,317 made of? And that is your community development fund, and you can find those funds on page 72 and 73. But you have community development funds, you have grant funds, building services, court technology, and child safety. And those are restricted for specific purpose, and you cannot spend it on anything else. Okay? The same goes for your red light camera, your debt service, and your street maintenance funds that are all up here. You know, they are for specific purposes, and you cannot spend them on anything else. So you have a $8.3 million unassigned fund balance. The possible things that affect fund balance are several. Already this year, you had $685,000 in capital that you approved that had no corresponding revenue. So that would delete, or not delete, but reduce your fund balance. You also budgeted for a deficit this year, I think about $1,084,000 for the park hike and bike. So you had a deficit in your fund balance, or a predicted deficit in your fund balance, and that will roll forward and use some of the current fund balance that's unassigned. And then you also have that new 10-year capital plan that you've implemented. So those are possibilities that you could use those unassigned fund balance on. You do have $4,942 in ARPA funds left, and that's already committed to the ambulance. So those ARPA funds aren't going to come back, and you've spent them, and they supplemented a lot of your projects over the course of the years. The water sewer fund, the net position increased 9%, or $1.3 million. Unrestricted net position is $3.6 million. You purchased water rights for $1.3 million, and that's kind of like gold, purchasing those water rights. You know, they're very expensive and they're very needed as your community grows. And then you raised rates finally in 2026, which was the first time since 2018. And, you know, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about that. Water is expensive and continues to be expensive. You also have infrastructure that probably needs repairs because it is older, repairs and replaced. I'm just going to go over this slide instead of the whole unfunded TMRS slide, but currently you are funded 90.93%. This is average of 91%. The GFOA, Government Finance Officers Association, they recommend that anything over 70% is good, anything over 80% is great. So you do have that $5.3 million liability if, you know, the city should end today, which we know it's not, or end as of 12/31/24. But that goes up and down according to the assumptions and your interest earned on those funds. You do have a other post-employment benefit. It's the supplemental death benefit of $462,000 liability. This is a trend analysis that we do every year, and it's at the end of the governance letter. And that governance letter is that loose letter that you have, you know, in the financial statements. It basically tells us, you know, our responsibility, your responsibilities. Did we finish the audit within the planned scope and timing? Did we meet the compliance for ethics and independence? Talks about our significant accounting policies and any changes. You did have a change because GASB 101 required us to add any sick time to the liability. And you guys don't really have any sick time. You have personal and PTO. So you had no change, but I do have to tell you that that's a new policy that you would have to comply with. Accounting estimates, we had useful lives of your capital assets because we don't know how long most of them will last. Your pension-related liabilities, that was your TMRS. That's an estimate based on assumptions performed by the firm GRS. You have OPEB-related liabilities, and that's other post-employment benefits. And then allowance for uncollectible receivables for water revenues, EMS, and property tax. We actually said that you are in compliance with the Public Funds Investment Act, and that's a requirement of the state. We didn't have any significant issues while we were doing the audit. We did have a prior period adjustment of $400,000. I want to tell you that, you know, it's one of those things that it's very immaterial to your financial statements, but we chose to do it as a prior period adjustment because it would skew your expense accounts for water and sewer, and we just didn't want to do that. But it's like 0.001% of your assets in the water fund. And that actually occurred because Carol integrated the Encode fixed asset system, which your fixed assets had typically been kept on an Excel spreadsheet. And anyway, that was updated and just recognized some missing assets and different depreciation. So, any questions?
Okay, yes. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate your presentation, and thanks to the finance director and to our city manager for helping gather all this important information. We do appreciate it. And Councilor Campos had the first question here. Go ahead, sir.
Debbie, thank you for your presentation. And for the audience, I did review this audit from cover to cover, provided you and Carol, we sat down together along with the city manager to come up with different notes and went over the analysis and so forth. So thank you for your time with us. Approximately, do you mind if I call you Debbie?
Oh, no, yeah.
Okay, Debbie, approximately how many cities do you audit? Or
our firm or me?
Firm.
About 36, and then counties I don't know. Counties we have 12 now.
So significant experience.
Yeah, I've been doing this for 38 years.
So, when we're looking at, the number of months we have in operating expenses, would it be wise for a city to say, oh, we're going to lower that and reduce taxes to eat up this operating surplus, these fund balances, versus use it for future capital items or purchases of equipment and improvements for our city? What would you?
Yeah, well, again, you're talking to an accountant. And, I wouldn't reduce your tax rate, number one, because it's very, very difficult to increase your tax rate. And I think your tax rate is like
0.54.
Yeah, but I was just going to give you, there's a table in the back. The back of this audit gives you 10 years of information. And I think, the last 10 years, you went from a point, in 2016, you had a 0.575507 per 100 direct tax rate, and now you have a 0.48739. So what happens is you lower your tax rate, and then it's very difficult to raise it above 3% from year to year. So then if you have an emergency, I audit Kirk County. So it eats into your fund balance quite quickly. If you're going to fund capital projects, you have a capital project plan right now, I would suggest, and again, I'm not part of management, so as an auditor, I would suggest you commit some of those funds, some of that unassigned fund balance to pay for those future projects that you had or have, rather than, possibly going into debt, or you may not be able to, for instance, your water fund, you may not be able to get a long-term bond for that right away.
And if you do go into a bond for any expenditure, that payment for the bond also figures into your property tax rate. Yes. So it's not free money that you've got to pay it back, and it's part of this property tax rate.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing that you have to remember is was it 4 years ago when you put that freeze on property tax? So you have a limit there. And as you noticed this year, you brought in less than you budgeted.
And that's the 20% exemption is what you're talking about? Okay.
Well, it was a 65 freeze, I think.
Yeah.
Well, we have 65 freeze, but we also had a 20% exemption for everyone under 65. That was about 2 or 3 years ago, about 3 years ago.
That was state law.
No, that was local.
Oh, was it?
Mhm.
Okay, well, you had
And
to.
correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're,
but-
you're right.
yeah.
It was,
I'm right.
and so it did reduce our revenue.
Mhm.
But, you know, in this current budget year, I know this audit reflects, but just so on the record, the city experienced a $41 million decrease in taxable value. Okay, and so
Right.
our revenue from, for this current fiscal year, not the one that we're talking about that was audited,
26, you
was affected, okay, for this
I
next
did,
year.
I did look at the 26 budget, yes.
And then, when you were going through the audit, you know, journal entries are made to where there might be some corrections, were there many?
Well, so we allow two different types of journal entries. We had several that were given to us by Carol after we left. I think there were 5 that I gave you that were ours. Okay, 10 and 18 from Carol. And we come pretty early. So for instance, when we come, you haven't received all your sales tax funds. You haven't received your CPS franchise.
Mhm.
You haven't received quite a few, basically payables because they just haven't arrived.
Right.
So she sends us all of those after we leave.
But everything was in pretty much in good order?
In very good order.
Okay,
Yes,
that's what I
yes.
wanted to point out.
Yeah.
And were there any deficiencies in our internal controls that we should be aware of, that concerns? Okay. And then, you know, we talked about, in your presentation, you talked in slide, about the water rights that we purchased. It was on slide 8 of $1.3 million. And I just want to remind my colleagues that, and the citizens here in the audience, that we spent 1.3. However, this was new water to the city to accommodate the new developments. And we increased our impact fee to the developers so that we could pay and collect for the water, as well as future improvements such as the water tower at Marshall High School. That way, the current residents wouldn't be burdened by the additional water we needed. So that's what the impact fees were adjusted for. Okay, and then the last comment I have, we mentioned the prior period adjustment. This is from years back.
It's accumulation
Right.
of multiple years. Like,
Right.
you know, maybe the amount to last year was 23,000, but it's a cumulative, yes.
And it was really during the reconciliation between the spreadsheet that had been kept historically versus what was going into our Encode system. And now we've got that accurately reflected. Carol, thank you for that work, so.
And it's a quirky, the Encode product for fixed assets or property and equipment is a very quirky system. Most cities I know will buy it and then start it and kind of push it to the side.
All right, thank you. That's all the comments.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Just a clarification on my part. Yes, .48 was last year's tax rate. We moved it to .54 for this current.
For 26.
Yeah, for 26. So my correction there. I realize we're not on this year yet. We're last year. So thank you for that. Is there anyone else that has any questions, comments for?
Yeah, again, I mean, the spread, my number's almost all over the place here.
Debbie, we talked about, just one other thing, we talked about the financial highlights that you had on page 5. And so you and I talked about, well, is there any way we could get an update rather than annually? Can we get one like mid-year? What did you share with me?
I had said like 6 months, I would, you know, and we had discussed this previously, but 6 months you might take the net income and add back in any, or subtract your unbudgeted expenses.
Okay.
Or your budgeted expenses that haven't occurred.
Mhm.
But you also have to remember that your property tax is front-end loaded, so you pretty much have collected all your property tax by February. And then your sales tax is always 2 months behind.
Yeah.
Your franchise tax is about 3 months behind. Most of the time, it's
Right.
at the end of the quarter.
Okay.
And then you wait a couple months. So, most of your expenses are routine.
Mhm.
So, yeah, at 6 months, you might do a quick little tabulation,
Okay.
but that's an estimate. It's not factual.
Right,
Okay.
right. And so these that you've given us today are the audited numbers for 2025?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is what Carol will submit
Mhm.
for your ACFR, because you did receive the GFO certificate last year, and that's at the very front of your ACFR, and it's page 9.
Mhm.
So you received it for 24,
Mhm.
and so she'll be submitting it for 25.
Yeah, it was just interesting because I was comparing our unaudited for 2025 versus our audited. So it's kind of an interesting, we went up on
Pretty
a lot of
close,
it, but
maybe
yeah.
3,000
But it was, yeah, just, yeah.
$300,000 maybe?
It was, yeah. Anyway, so yeah. Okay, thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right, anything else? Any questions from our guest in the chambers, citizens and guests? Okay. If I see no one, then we will thank again Debbie and your team, Carol and Dr. Caldera, for getting all of this together to present it for the annual audit. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. All right, and we'll be back in touch. Thank you. Okay. That's right. We asked for your, yes, that's right. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate it. Enjoy working with you. All right. So then we'll move then to presentation 6.2, presentation and discussion on the RISE AI Youth Build Grant Proposal. We have Regina Reed, our library director here.
No, so I need to clarify.
Oh, okay.
So in the original presentation that y'all had in your packet, we put together the packet because me and you, anyway, it's timeline. Ms. Bradfield amended her request. So on the original request, they wanted the city to be a partner with RISE AI, and we had a lot of questions in regards to that, and we weren't recommending approval with that partnership due to the questions being unfulfilled at the time, and we thought it's too close to the March 2nd deadline in order for us to get those questions answered. She has since amended her request, and her request now is to just use or go into an MOU with her to use city facilities, to use the library room, and if the library room is filled, then to be able to use the conference room, and then any computers we have available. I have explained to her in an email that the computers we would have available are the Chromebooks that we currently use for robotics. However, they're pretty old pieces of equipment. They can't be updated anymore, and we just use them right now for like browsing the internet for that class. And so I did tell her that's kind of one of the things that we don't have that's up to date. She didn't seem to have a problem with that. The only concern that I have is that the MOU would be used to go towards the in-kind portion of this grant. And so I don't have an issue with them continuing to use the library facilities, but the process that they're currently utilizing now, in my opinion, works just fine. Like, they continue to fill out the form, they can set up their classes, and they can continue to use the training room as they are using it now. I do have issues with the questions not being answered. The ones that I sent out included y'all.
Yeah, I saw that.
I still have concern with that. The city attorney has reviewed. You can ask his opinion on that. Because there's a mechanism for them to continue to use the room, like it's not like we're kicking them out. I feel like that's the most appropriate way to kind of go about it until we get clarification on how the grant's going to run, how it's going to meet the population eligibility requirement of the grant before we enter into an agreement with them is my current position on it. And
So the rental or the use of the library is just for the AI portion?
Correct.
Not the youth build or
Well,
whatever?
that's it. So they're off, my
Explain that
understanding
to
is
us.
she can certainly explain it in depth, but
Mhm.
Ms. Bradford's company offers an AI Academy coursework, and she teaches how to use AI in line with the grant itself. But the grant itself has a lot of other eligibility requirements. And I sent you all the grant, that's in the packet. And so to me, with the original proposal, she didn't meet those original eligibility requirements with somebody that we would partner with. And so she did amend her proposal. So her proposal right now is just using the facility and the computers, which is something I'm okay with. I just think that the mechanism in which she's doing it is still the mechanism that she should continue to use those facilities with. Like, we don't have to sign an MOU with her to continue to use those facilities.
So what about the grant then? We're
not filing that. There's a lot of components in regards to that
it's
grant.
huge,
You have
yeah.
to, yes. And so Northside Independent School District, the Texas Workforce Commission, those larger agencies are the ones, because you're starting a whole entire program. You need staffing. You have match requirements. Some of it can be in kind. Only 10% can be used for administration of the grant. So there's a lot of components with the Youth Build grant. And with federal grants, you have auditing process, and sometimes the federal government doesn't always accept all of your in-kind, so then you have to be prepared to purchase that with cash. We do operate with a lot of federal grants, as you know, and we get single audited for those large portions of the grant, so that's an additional layer of staff time. My understanding is that's not her request this evening, is for us not to write the grant. That's not her request. Her request is simply just to use the facility to host her class as part of that grant.
Okay, very good. Did you want to weigh in on that,
Sure,
since you've
I mean,
reviewed, and
I
just to
don't-
educate the
Yeah, I don't
council?
have much more to add than what Crystal indicated.
Mhm.
I think there are a couple of issues, and then in that, I did review the grant application, and the application, there's two areas in there that I think is, we want to take a look at, I guess, a little bit more closely. One is the applicant must be essentially a governmental entity, and if you're not a governmental entity, then you need to be a nonprofit corporation, either a 501c3 or a nonprofit that's not a 501c3. And from the documentation that was provided, there is no ability for me to at least ascertain whether who they're asking us to contract with is a nonprofit. So that's issue number one. Number two is that if you're using it, like Crystal said, for in-kind services, but we're not charging them anyway, I don't really understand where our partnership comes in the larger umbrella of the grant. And then thirdly, it does require it requires the applicant, which is a nonprofit or a governmental entity, to have that MOU or a letter of commitment. Again, not knowing who the applicant is, if they meet that eligibility, I'm not sure yet whether we can, whether even granting it right now meets what their requirements are with respect to the grant.
Okay, all right.
Is that clear?
Thank you, I appreciate that. All right, anyone else? Regina, did you have anything to add, since you reviewed the?
No, those were my main points as well. I did go kind of line by line. If you looked at the presentation, you kind of saw that comparison that I did on what the initial proposal was versus what the grant was asking for. So you saw those concerns in the packet. So I didn't have anything else to add to that.
Okay, all right, very good. And Ms. Bradfield, did you have something to add to the discussion? And welcome back. Thank you.
For allowing me to address some of these concerns. Yes, Crystal is correct that I did totally change the request. And maybe it would help to put this with some context. When I did a workshop at the library, there was some discussion regarding trying to bring more funding into the library, offering more of this type of programming, and the library's 5 minutes from my home, so I definitely had a vested interest to help how I could. And so when the Youth Build grant did come up, that was the first place I thought of. Let's bring it to the library. And when I got the first round of questions, because me and Regina, we spoke, and she gave a list of questions. The original document that I supplied to her, that was not, I didn't think that was going to be used to compare it to the grant and, compare the two. that's not the document that was not the intent of that document.
Okay.
However, when she raised those questions, I did go back and I prepared a 52-page document to address those concerns. I gave that to her, and then I got these list of questions from Crystal, which again, I addressed those questions in that. Now, if they're saying that I didn't answer them, I answered them to the aspect that we are simply asking for a letter of support. That's it, right? Because I understand that there are some financial constraints with the city. There are some staffing constraints with the library, and I didn't want to put that additional load on the library or the staff. So at this point, all of those things, I was writing a list, the use of the library, and simply just, well, you can just use it as it is. Of course, if you guys have read through that grant, you also know that memorandums of understanding, the MOU, is to give strength to the grant application. So that's why I'm asking for a letter of support. For one, this being my city. For two, being a homeowner here. For three, just, I was really trying to offer the city, AI programming. That was my intent. But it seemed like it got really complicated. And I just, we are on a tight time frame, right? So I do have an entire team in place, as I stated in the email, and the questions that were being asked of me, to me, they weren't appropriate because it was asking about funding and what kind of land, where will you build, and I wasn't asking for any of that. I'm not asking for any type of financial support from the city. I'm not asking for the city to serve as prime. We are simply asking for a letter of support. And that's it.
A letter of support for the build grant, right?
A letter of support for the programming as far as serving the kids.
The A1, the AI. Yeah, we have two programs together, so that's kind of hard to decide what you're doing it for both.
Yeah, let me put that into context.
Explain that.
The program that I offer, it is a pre-apprenticeship that leads into an apprenticeship. So the apprenticeship program is under registration with Department of Labor. However, the 6-week pre-apprenticeship is required in order for, you don't just throw people into an apprenticeship with no base of knowledge, especially if they don't have a base of knowledge with AI. So that 6-week pre-apprenticeship program gets them ready so they have a higher likelihood of completing the apprenticeship.
Okay.
Now, the target market is youth, ages 16 through 24. And I'm sure you guys have read the news about how fast AI is going. I mean, it's changing every day. So the point is, so our kids are not left behind. The whole point of Youth Build, for those that may not be aware, is to provide an on-ramp into the construction industry, right? So it's to provide training. I have a construction manager, like all the requirements of the grant, those are met. But I did not feel the need to disclose all of that because I wasn't asking for anything financial, anything about any of that. So I kind of feel like now is being turned that I'm not answering questions, and I answered every question. I don't know if it was answered in the way that it was presented to me, but I did make a note that it is answered in the context of simply I'm requesting a letter of support. I didn't answer the questions as approaching Leon Valley as a prime or any active role on this grant, simply saying that, yes, I live in Leon Valley, yes, I want to serve my kids, and yes, I want to do it at the library, and I just wanted Leon Valley to say, well, great, yes, help our kids. That's it. That's all I was asking. So I was really trying to keep it simple for all parties involved.
Okay. Are there any other questions from my colleagues? Because, I mean, we got a packet, it was this thick. I mean, we had a lot of information to go through, so that's why I was,
I
had a
just
lot
have a
of
couple of
questions.
questions,
Yes,
Mayor.
sir.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Thank you so much for that presentation. And I know you've done a lot for the city since you moved in, what, about a year ago? Has it been that long?
Yeah, September.
Okay, well, thank you so much. What specifically do you want us to put in that letter of support? What exactly is it that you want us to present on there?
I actually provided a template of the letter of support, and it's pretty, you can, and I also said that you can change it to however you need to, but in the letter, just saying that, yes, that we support the Youth Build Rise AI Youth Build program and helping youth in Leon Valley and getting AI training.
And how would that obligate us to provide a space for you able to put those classes on? How is it that we do this letter of support? And do we have to say, oh, well, she's going to be able to use a library at certain times that she needs to? Is that something that we need to put in there if we decide to go that way?
Well, no, I'm not trying to lock in any specific time with the library,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
I felt it would be best that when the federal government reads this, that they understand, well, you live in Leon Valley, why didn't you get approval from the city itself, right? So that's what I was trying to do, just simply getting it put on paper that, yes, we will hold programming at Leon Valley Library. No specific dates, no specific times. I will absolutely work with whatever scheduling and it's not even staffing. I mean, besides opening the door and letting us in, that's it. Because I have staff, I have a team that will handle whatever is needed for this program. I wanted a letter of support to kind of show some solidarity that Leon Valley, big ideas, and I thought it was a perfect fit.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
No, we haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
it is. It's in your packet. So just to clarify, when we offer a letter of support, that's why I ask those questions. So just by saying you're no longer the prime applicant, you don't need to know the answers to these questions. I can't give, as a city manager, when I'm advising this council, can't say, hey, we should support, because our name comes with ties, right? So if you're taking that to the federal government saying the city has vetted Rise. I don't know. I mean, your company may be great. The next best thing, I don't know that. I haven't sat through any of your classes. I don't know if you're accredited. I don't know, other than the fact that you're tied with the Texas Workforce Commission. So if they're going to tie themselves to you and say, yes, this class is part of this grant is the best thing, I need proof of that. And so we don't have proof of that. And so when I asked those questions, your response was, you're not the prime applicant. We don't, so I needed to be able to tell the council, you're fulfilling, if we're going to support you, you're going to fulfill all of your eligibility requirements. So I do need the answers to that. They do, like, it's not just because we're using the library, when they support something, they need to make sure that that letter of support, just like if I give a recommendation letter, I don't give everybody that comes and asks me a recommendation letter. We want to make, I only give recommendation letters to people that I can actually recommend. That's exactly what their letter of support would be doing, is recommending that you move forward with this program. But there's nothing in any of the packets that say you're the top AI class or you're accredited class. That wasn't what was turned in. You gave us a proposal, you gave an example letter of support, you gave an example MOU, which that was provided in their packet, but there's nothing to say that the Texas Workforce Commission, that was one of the questions I asked you, what other MOUs do you have? Are they in support? Are they saying your class is accredited? Do you meet that obligation? And so for me, all of those questions can probably be answered, and your class probably is one of the best out there. I just didn't have that information to provide to them for them to recommend to do a letter support to recommend, and the timeline is before the next council meeting. And so your timeline is March 3rd. Our next council meeting is March 2nd, their council meeting's March 3rd. So before you were able to provide that information, I would have needed it for tonight, which you didn't provide. You didn't answer all of those questions in order for me to tell them, yes, I recommend for you to support her class. And so my recommendation was, maybe not this year we can support, But next year, after you provide all the information to us, then they can provide a letter. Maybe they'll do an MOU. Maybe they'll want to go into a part of the program with you if we had more of these questions answered. I just felt like the timeline and the turnaround was so tight that I didn't have all those questions answered, and we don't just apply for grants or push something through because we feel pressured into doing so. I wanted to make sure they had all the information before they offered their essential letter of recommendation for you to move forward move forward with this grant. And so I'm not trying to make it overly complicated. I'm not trying to not do this academy. I think it's a great concept, great idea. I just couldn't recommend to them to make that decision without all the information.
Okay. Counselor Campos.
Ms. Bradfield, thank you for coming and bringing this to our attention, and welcome to Leon Valley. I know we've seen you here, you and your husband, and thank you for participating in what we do here. You know, I've looked at the grant. It seems very worthwhile, number one, okay, to help the youth and the construction. But the time is so tight. I think the first time we heard about this was sometime in late January.
January 29th is when it dropped.
And what was told to us initially is that Leon Valley would benefit through some funding to the library, but I don't hear that anymore. I'm hearing that I'm just looking for the use of Leon Valley space. Okay, I didn't hear we're going to pay you so there's additional funds coming to the library. I didn't, at least I'm not hearing it. So what we're kind of interested in, at least for me, is who is that prime? You know, it has to be a governmental or nonprofit, and I know your company's not a nonprofit. I went to the Secretary of State to look up your corporate entity. I did that, the research on that, and so I think we would like to know who that is and who we're really committing with, because I think you're an important part of the team, but we'd like to see who else is on the team. You mentioned different partners, but I don't think those partners were nonprofits that I saw, or governmental entities. And what was worrying us is that there is, while when you get grant funds in any capacity, there is some sort of match. And then we heard, okay, there's a 25% match. And if it's $1 million, well, that's $250. It's $2 million, then that's the amount we heard. So there's $500,000, and we're trying to figure out, okay, we need to make sure we're not inadvertently on the hook for that as a community. Right. And then, today I went to go visit the library to figure out, okay, what does the room look like? And I talked to Regina, and she says, here it is. We make this room available for free to anyone who requests it, as long as it's not political and they're not selling anything. Okay, and then we talked about the computer resources, and that the Chromebooks that they have, that would be the laptops used in that room, because there's no computers in that room for the audience to understand. So there would be laptop, and the Chromebooks that they have are not current and cannot be updated. So would you want your students that are involved in IA to be using those? And then they did inform me that you have done an AI presentation, and I asked, well, what computers did she use at that time? And she says, well, no, it was just a screen presentation. So there wasn't any. And so we're trying to put all this into context in such a short period of time. And then I went out and looked, and I said, I think there is a program from the Northside Independent School District that has a construction academy. And so I did look it up, and there are, like Marshall has a construction academy, and there's various high schools that have them in the north side. And it's kind of leads me to say, well, why wouldn't they be that partner that could give you that support rather than the city of Leon Valley? Because we're really, as you mentioned, the staff is stretched as it is, and they're doing a great job in providing programs for our community. And when I say that, Bear County wide, I mean, it's beyond the city. So those are the questions I have in, you know, and then when you're trying to, if you're trying to use this, or someone, because I don't know who the prime is the in-kind value, but it's all free. So how do you value our in-kind as anything going toward that match, if you will, that 25% match? So all of these are questions that we have. Such a tight timeline of March 2nd that without these answers, how can we give you that support?
Okay, no,
Okay.
I absolutely understand those concerns. As far as the 25% match, I did review that, you know, with the team as well and looked at those constraints, and the library already provides the free room. So that was one of the main reasons why we just said, well, we don't need you to serve as prime. We're just looking for a letter of support. And in that letter of support, you know, I mean, you guys can write the letter of support. I provided a template, but to make it very clear that you will not have any financial obligations or anything dealing financially, Leon Valley's not responsible for. As far as the Chromebooks, when that topic was raised to me, we don't need the library to provide Chromebooks or laptops, and you are correct. When I did the workshop, we didn't use Chromebooks. That was a different program though, you know, and when I did my pilot at Workforce Commission, they provided laptops, and so we had already planned on getting laptops through the grant. So that the Chromebook issue, that was no longer an issue. As far as Northside ISD and Marshall, I mean, we can absolutely look at them, but like I said, when I first thought about this youth bill grant, I first thought about the library. That's it. That's where it stopped. How can we help the library?
And-
I really went into this with a good heart, trying to figure out how we can help the library. So that's where the search kind of stopped with that. So it's not that I didn't know that Marshall High School, is that I did not approach them because I wanted to work with the library.
Sure.
And I thought that would have been a good program site. As far as the prime, I do have the organization that will be serving as the prime on the grant. So if you have any questions, or the construction team, any questions, they are here and can answer those questions as well.
Okay. Mr. Campos has a follow-up, and then if there's anyone else.
Thank you for being with a big
appreciate
heart. We're also trying to serve with a big heart to help. But who is the prime? Who is that governmental entity and the nonprofit?
Or a nonprofit.
Okay.
Black Contract Association of San Antonio, we are a nonprofit.
If
Okay,
you
we'll
wouldn't
need
mind
to,
coming-
come to the podium, because we are live streaming our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Councilman. My name is Vivian Main. I am the Secretary for the Black Contract Association of San Antonio, and we stand ready to provide the 501c3 nomination for the project.
So I'm familiar with your organization. I used to be the contracting director for the San Antonio Water System, so I'm familiar with your organization. So do you all have that association, that 501c3, do you have that match that's needed? I mean, that's what's important, you know, and so, again, we want to be as fair as possible, but there are things that we do need answered.
We understand, yes, and we're working with our grant writer as well, and he's making all the provisions to whatever we need to. So yes, we're working with that, whatever the requirements are.
Okay, so you think you would be eligible to, or you'd have the resources to make that match?
Yes, we are in the process of writing the grant, yes, we are.
Well, I understand the writing.
Yes. Yes.
But it's a financial commitment, you know, where there are dollars and resources for that match. So that's what I'm.
Yes, yes. For the whatever, we haven't, yes, we are. We're ready.
So if the letter support really wouldn't be to Rise AI, your letter support would be to the block contract support. That's who your MOU, like if you're going to write a letter support, it's to the person writing the grant, not to a subcontractor essentially that's participating in that execution of the grant.
Okay.
Am I correct, Art? I mean,
Yes. I mean, and I guess there's something that, just to be clear, I mean, the contract talks in a letter of commitment, but we've been talking about here letters of support, and a letter of commitment, and I'm not sure if that's just casual blending of the terms, or if there's actually, the contract, as far as I can see, doesn't include, or doesn't have a letter of support component in it, just a letter of commitment that goes towards the in-kind. Okay, so, I mean, if it's just a letter of support with no financial obligation, that would be different than asking for y'all to have a letter of commitment. That would be under the grant. But Crystal's absolutely right. What the contract does, or the grant does require, is that it be to the prime contract, the applicant, not, not in this case, the person that's just advancing or putting together the grant application.
All right, thank you. Did you have something, Counselor Heil?
I think probably that question was answered. So would you still submit this grant without support of the city, or is it not worth doing?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Yeah. I just thought that, I wanted to pull it through Leon Valley. I don't know. I live here. I just thought it would be good.
You're ready to go, right, with the grant? You can just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yes, Counselor Marsh.
So I hear that you're saying you wanted to bring it to Leon Valley, you wanted to do something for the library, but I'm still not quite understanding, what is the library getting out of this? What is the benefit to Leon Valley?
The benefit to the library is because it will essentially, this grant is tied in, as she mentioned before, with Texas Workforce Commission, right? So the whole point of the grant is to get youth ages 16 to 24 kind of an on-ramp into the construction industry. So if anything, it would be to the benefit, from my perspective, it would be to the benefit of the library to say, we helped these kids find jobs. We use our library to help our kids find jobs. So as far as financial or anything like that, for all of the reasons that have been mentioned here, as far as the complexities of it all, that's why we decided not to pursue Leon Valley as prime. And those issues don't go away. I mean, of course, we still have to do the match. We still have to meet all of the recommendations of the grant, which we have told, we haven't planning meetings and we're planning them every Tuesday, Thursday, so we really kind of wanted to see what Leon Valley temperature was. And now that I think we have a pretty good idea, we can move forward with our other nonprofit or our other letters of support if required or necessary.
Okay, yes. Another follow-up question.
One more question. So where do the kids come that are being helped? Are they coming from all over Bexar County, all over San Antonio, specifically Leon Valley? Where are they drawing the youth that need this support?
So the target market is, that's a big part of it, is wherever, if we're saying Leon Valley, 78238, 78240, that surrounding area. So we would work with different nonprofits. That is then when we will reach out to Marshall, or then reach out to Northside ISD or other nonprofits that our other partners have relationships with. In that case, we're working with Alamo Schools District and Colleges, Ready to Work for City of San Antonio. So there is an abundance of kids that need this help. So that's why I was thinking, well, I want to help our kids first, right? That was my thought.
Okay, thank you. All right. Yes, citizens be heard. Thank you,
Okay,
Ms.
thank
Bradfield. Do appreciate it. Yes, sir. Mr. Bowl?
Thank you, Mayor Council. Again, Evan Bowl, 4 Stokes Counterfield. So from what I was listening to, it seemed like really there was, I guess, an application or a thought to put an application in through whatever the city of Leon Valley process could provide them for what they needed, which was a letter of support, and they thought asking for, I guess, a grant or permission or what usually other organizations come before asking for assistance when they utilize our community center and or the other building is, I feel like that's a logistical matter that's easily fleshed out with just maybe a month or two of time. It looks like that now they understand the process is different than they imagined, and they can execute that to the desires of the city. But the idea is, as lady was just here saying, her idea is to tap our youth in Leon Valley, surrounding Leon Valley. I guarantee you, I may have gone to high school at Taft High School. I wasn't a Pat Neff student. I wasn't a Marshall student. I went to Taft, and that is down Grissom. Leon Valley and the businesses and organizations here have a long reach down that way. And it would be to the benefit of the city and its future to say we invested in our youth. And what did we invest? A letter of support. A letter of support that said, that didn't even have to mention the bumps in the road of the logistics on the behind scenes. And I think that I have not witnessed the positive receipt of this organization and what they're trying to do necessarily. I have seen that the more talks of the bumps in the road and how sharp those bumps might be, if we're really intent on talking of our youth and the future of this city and the surrounding aspects of the city in San Antonio, as we talk about the Bandera Road project going forward, I think it is imperative that we receive these organizations and their ideas with much more positivity. And yes, something monumental as that is going to have its challenges, its obstacles. That is what this universe does to those who are trying to do good, for those who aren't going to start at the level of accomplishment or a level of opportunity that some of us may not. So that is what I think this council needs to be doing and needs to take in heed going forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. The agenda item says presentation and discussion, and
So I just need to know
but
if
the
y'all
thing
want
is
to do
I-
a letter of support or not.
But would we
that's
get to
your-
review? I mean, I don't know what the council says. I mean, and we don't have a meeting until the 3rd.
That's correct.
So that's my.
So that's why,
my issue.
again, I want to make it perfectly clear. I wasn't saying that this organization wasn't a good organization. I'm not saying that we shouldn't support or that you shouldn't do a future MOU with them. I'm saying that my questions that I ask, it is my job as a city manager, and I hope that they understand this, that if they were sitting on this dais, that the person they have in charge is doing due diligence and making sure that I am providing y'all all the information to make the right decision. And so I think if we just had enough time, had I known that that was the prime applicant when I asked the question, instead of getting the response, we have a prime applicant, my recommendation would be to have supported the prime applicant of the person that's writing the grant. Because they're a 501c3, they meet the eligibility requirements, and so you could have done a letter of support in that regard, which would have been more in line with my recommendation than a subcomponent of the person writing the grant, if that makes sense. And so, again, I'm not opposed, I'm not opposed to what they're trying to do. I'm not opposed to the grant. I'm not opposed to the
I think we're
program.
all, yeah. on
And,
the same
but
page.
with the information that I had in front of me to provide y'all with the recommendation, I just didn't have it. And so.
Well, what I heard from our city attorney is it was not a letter of support that the grant is, it's a letter of commitment.
As part of the grant,
And that,
yes.
to me, is a distinction, yeah. So, anyway, yes, sir, Mr. Campos.
So I would be in favor of a letter of support, but we need to tweak this to make sure that, you know, I don't think it should include where the access to library laptops and computers, because that's not, we're really just providing a room within the library, right? There's no laptops, there's no computers, and I don't think I would go that far as, this is just my comment, is that going as far as having the community center being part of this. You're able to use that library room, but anybody can use it as long as they're not selling things, and there's some requirements. And I think.
Yeah, so you could do so again, the grant required a letter of commitment. If they're just asking for a letter of support, just to support Rise AI as part of being a component to this Youth Build grant, definitely you can do that. And the way I would write that letter is just to say you support their mission and their purpose, because not, you know what I mean? Like you're supporting their initiative. And you write it to that component, right? Like their mission, their statement. And so then you're in support of what it is that they're trying to accomplish, and you're not tying yourself to the grant portion, if that makes sense.
The only
Go
other
ahead.
question I had was any liability issue if somebody gets hurt on our property?
Yeah, so hurt on your property, you have that no matter what, you're open to the public. So if anybody,
Okay.
you just,
So that's my suggestion.
yeah.
Councilor Orozco and then Councilor Marsh.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Crystal. And I'm okay with the letter of support, as you mentioned. I do have one more question, though, too. I know that you are very diligently in working this, and if you don't get this letter of support, I know that in discussion with you, and I've talked to you, I know you have a plan B. Have you approached anybody else other than us in this situation?
Absolutely, yes.
So there is a plan B, C, so you can go and get support from them as well.
Yes.
That's
Very
all I
good,
had.
thank you. Yes, Councilor Marsh.
So if our letter of support is to the primary applicant of the grant, which is the Black Contractors Association, are we opening ourselves up to inviting more classes related to this grant proposal other than AI, Ms. Bradfield's courses? And is there any, because we're not writing it for.
Well, what they agreed to is a letter of support, not the letter of commitment. So
Right.
you're not writing a letter, if you were writing a letter of commitment, that would go to the Black Contractor Association. But you're writing a letter of support for Ms. Bradfield's, Rise AI Academy. And so your letter of support would be in support of her mission and her initiative. And so you're not really tying yourself in support of her applying for the grant necessarily. You're supporting her and what she's trying to accomplish. And then I'm assuming that this will come again at some point, and maybe we can have a better timeline to maybe partner with her and her 501c3, and maybe we can start a portion of that program or be part of that program. I just think between now and March 3rd, it's too tight to find that puzzle piece. And so, but yes, you can do a letter of support. You would have to vote on, I need some direction. So I would like a motion and a vote of the letter of support written in such a way that it supports her program and her initiative. And I can certainly write that and send it to y'all when it's complete.
Thank you for that clarification.
Okay, all right. So, all right, anything else? All right, so what's the pleasure of the council? Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we issue a letter of support for the AI portion of this youth build. Again, specifying that it's only providing access to the room in the library, not any of the computers nor the community center. That's my motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion by Councilor Campos and a second by Councilor Orozco to write a letter of support for the AI portion of the Youth Build grant as presented. Any further discussion?
I do have one
Yes, go
more
ahead.
statement. We're going to be, hopefully get you the letter of support, but continue working on your Plan B and Plan C, and let us know what you learn, so you can teach us, so we can go forward with this.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. All right, thank you very much, and good luck. All right, yeah. Moving then to agenda item number 6.3, presentation and direction to staff on the Park Commission recommendation location of the monument at Veterans Memorial Park. And we have David Demeline, our Public Works Director, here this evening to present. Good evening, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, good
Mayor
to
and
see
Council.
you.
So the purpose of this item is to present the Leon Valley Park Commission's recommendation on the placement of the monument at Veterans Memorial Park. As you recall, City Council approved funding in the amount of $24,000 in this fiscal year budget for the construction and installation of a Veterans Memorial. The City Council requested that the Park Commission meet to review and recommend the placement of the monument. And so the Park Commission met in January to discuss the item, and they approved a location for the monument. So this is a current site of the memorial, Veterans Memorial, rather. So that's what it looks like as of today. And then the placement of the sign is basically in a direct line from the existing Veterans Memorial Park sign in line with the flagpole. And so the plywood is not to scale, but just to kind of show you the placement of the Park Commission's recommendation. So as far as vendor design, we have a couple of different examples. There's a one-sided version. That estimate is just a little bit less than $17,000. And then we have a two-sided estimate for $18,787. And then the wording there on the bottom right-hand side would be on the memorial as well, on both sides.
On both sides, okay.
Yes. So with the additional, or the monies that were left over, it was recommended that we place a few benches around that area as well. This is just an example. We can look at other types and pricing, but that's just wanted to include that as one of the recommendations for benches to be in that area.
Okay. Very good.
I'll be happy to answer any
Certainly.
questions.
Mr. Demeline, so both of the signs would the old sign and then the new sign would be in that memorial, Veterans Memorial area, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, Mayor.
very good.
So the Park Commission did recommend to leave the
Okay.
existing sign in place.
And I want to thank the Park Commission for their feedback, but I also want to thank Mr. Orozco, because he has been, really passionate about getting this job done. So thank you. I think your leadership has brought this to fruition. So thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Orozco.
Mayor. And I did go to the meeting, to the Parks Commission, and they didn't take this agenda item lightly. They went as far as going outside, and they went and looked around and to see where it would be. So they did not take this lightly. And I totally agree with the recommendation, and David and I both liked it. But we had already made a determination in council of the wording, and I believe that we're going on a two-sided, is that correct?
We said,
Or 'cause I
two-sided.
know-
Your pick, so do you want slide, that's the motion tonight, do you want one or two?
We ought to do two.
I thought that we had.
Go back to the slides?
Yeah.
We decided to have the one with the benches. So it's $16,000 and be able to have some benches around there.
18,000, it's
Yep.
18,000 for
Sided.
two-sided.
But you still
with
have
800
24,000 total,
Right,
so we
and so
still
then
have
we'll
money
add the
left over.
benches, correct. But the only reason we had, that's the one you all originally said, but then it went back to the Park Commission. So we're just bringing it back to you. If you want to do option one, go back one, which is plain, which is the 16,000. Our option two, two-sided, which is what I thought I heard, but I need
We did.
y'all to put that in a
Yes.
motion. Two for 18,000, and the remainder would be used to purchase benches to go around.
Yes, ma'am, I think we voted on that, yes, ma'am.
No,
Now-
you have to
No,
take
we
the
haven't
vote
voted on it. We
tonight.
voted on it
To
tonight.
solidify that, yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roscoe.
thank you,
Counselor
ma'am.
Marsh.
Can I just get some clarification on the location perspective of the pictures here? So is this, so if you're at the community center, are you seeing this facing the community center? Kind of is that the end of the community center there?
That would be,
So it's
yes.
kind of like you're walking up the sidewalk where the long parking lot is, and you see the wooden sign, and then this would be more towards the corner of the property where the corner of the community center, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, anything else? Yes, Counselor Campos.
Mayor, I'd just like to thank the city staff for working so diligently on this, and I also want to thank all the park commission members for their input, and Councilor Orozco on shepherding this through. So thank you. And I'm in favor of the two-sided with the 18,000 and the park benches.
Thank you. Counselor Heil.
Where will the benches go?
So there would so we would place them on both sides of the proposed monument. If we have enough for 3, it would just be around pretty much, centered across that back portion, if you will.
Two-sided, so you could put one further back behind it.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
anything else? All right, so
Yeah,
a
just,
motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept 6.3 as written, and with the recommendation from Mr. Campos, and that we go with a two-sided for the 18,000, and along with the benches.
I second it.
All right. All right, we have a motion by Counselor Orozco and a second by Counselor Mersch to approve agenda item 6.3 as presented, with the caveat that it be two-sided for 18,000 and some change, and the remainder of the money to add benches as within the budget. Any further discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I want to thank my city council we've been working on this for a long, long time, and I thank you so much for helping me. I've already talked to the American Legion, and I think we had a meeting on Thursday, and then they asked me to show up as well. They told me that you were showing up.
Oh,
No, maybe not, but anyway, it's going to meet Thursday. I want to make this a presentation for everybody, not only for the veterans, but for the families as well. So I want to have a pretty decent setup when it comes out. And again, thank you to my colleagues.
And then how about the gentleman that came, Daniel?
Yes,
We need to get back
I'm going
with
to
him.
call him tomorrow morning.
Because,
let him
yeah,
know
he
that
is,
you guys,
he was persistent every year he came
as a
back.
matter of fact, he's the one that started the.
Yeah, exactly,
yes.
exactly.
And I promised him that a couple of years ago, that if I would get elected, I would champion that.
Okay, very good.
So, again, thank you guys, appreciate you.
All right, so
Yes.
we need to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Thank you so much. All right, moving then to agenda item 6.4 at 8:05. Discussion and possible action regarding the July 4th, 2026 celebration. Dr. Caldera, this came up at the town hall meeting.
This did come up at the town hall
Yes.
meeting, so we scrambled, so I'm sorry it's not in the packet. We finished it up today. I actually closed out the online survey, and so the online survey, out of 24 responses, we had 7 people want like opening ceremonies or a decorative contest. Out of the, I know this is hard to read, but out of the 24 responses, 21 left a comment. There's only one comment on here that says really to continue with the 4th of July event. A lot of them, so I'm going to get down here, I'm sorry. It's like high school band performance, raffle, food trucks, picnic, keep it simple, shuttle people to Woodlawn, don't do anything. There are 10 other celebrations going around us. We need to find a way to have the 4th of July because it's the 25th. So there was only one favor of actually holding the event from the online, and I'll move on. Marching band asked for volunteers. A lot of it was asked for volunteers. We can't run a city event with just volunteers. Asked for the marshal, law enforcement is on there, I think, somewhere.
That's not a liability.
And so we can't do that. And so there's a lot of that picnic in the park. So these were the online comments. This is the in-person now. The in-person, again, both the opening ceremonies and decorative contests seem to kind of be the winning two. Out of the 43 applicants that were there, only 25 responded to this question. The big one here is fireworks. You had, actually it says 8, but you actually have 9, 10. You have fireworks because they separated the word firework down here. AI, we all love AI, pulled it out all by itself. And so you have that, and then it says gotta have fireworks. So these two actually would count towards the fireworks up here. So you had 9, 10. We had a couple for the parade, but I think it's more people don't understand the logistics of the parade. Other than that, you didn't really have a whole lot of, you know, it said save the money. You had just as many, in my opinion, that were not in favor of the fireworks. If you kind of go through and picnic in the park, barbecue, ask businesses for donations, we do that already, battle of the bands, cameras to solve crimes, ceremony in the veterans, chili cook-off, city banners, communist, concert with a picnic, costume dress, it's expensive, free swim lessons, go to San Antonio events, and that's the firework one that I counted up there. Keep it like last year, Leon Valley is America, Leon Valley is un-American. Like last year, Nick's live music, nothing. So, I mean, you have a mix, but you did have more support in person for the fireworks. Water recreational games, save the money, water safety ed program, water games. So a lot of like water games at the pool, but again, it's not like an overwhelmingly response.
No, but there were a lot of picnic in the parks. I thought that was a
Well,
lot.
you know,
That
you
was,
could-
that
I mean,
seemed to
the
resonate.
Picnic in the park doesn't like.
Means
the
you
park's
bring your own
open.
food. You bring your own
Well,
food.
picnic
Yeah.
in the park means we do nothing. Doesn't fireworks nothing. It's just you're open just like Easter.
Yeah.
You're open just like Easter, and people come and we clean up. That's what picnic in the park is you have a picnic in the park. And so, but I did get some options for y'all to take a look at. I did look at a drone show because I thought, well, you don't maybe need as much fire. You can see that from your home, so it can go higher in the air. And so I looked at maybe something like this. It's really expensive, so I like to use don't freak out. But it would cost you about $162,000, $130 for the drone show, small stage. I was just looking for something different. I thought maybe it would save you some money in the personnel side of things, and it would offset it. It didn't, but I wanted to provide it to you because I thought it'd be really cool. There's not really a drone show in the area, and they're kind of cool if you've seen them on TV. They did them in like New York, Dallas, and Houston do them.
I've
and,
seen those on TV.
They're really cool looking. I thought maybe that would be something that we could do here. Option 2 would just be the fireworks displays. Oh, so option 1 with the drone show, I wanted y'all to see we got 3 quotes so nobody can say we're crazy. I went with the 130 because I thought it would give you the best show, and it was in between Skyworks. But so you can lower it. This actually, I'm sorry, I hit the zero. It should be 90,000, but it's not it's choreographed, but it doesn't go to music, right? Or something. There was something with it.
So they only have 300 available for Skyward.
Skyward. Okay, yeah, 300 drones. So it'd be kind of like a little plain. So I did the 130 because that would be a little bit more pizzazz, but you could change that if you wanted to do something simpler to 90,000. That would reduce your cost. Option 2 is just the fireworks. We got 3 quotes. And I went with 40,000 because it had the 4-inch shells and it would be choreographed. This one is Mayhem. It's 25,000 for 3-inch shells and it's not choreographed. Roar Over Texas is 3-inch shells, and what that means is how high it goes in the sky. And so nobody's available for high aerial, so you still have to be closer in to see them, but 4-inch would give you a little bit more latitude to see it a little further back. And so if you're looking at that, just the fireworks show, No music, no staging, no nothing, just fireworks is about 77,000. That's with fire department, PD, some fencing, a couple of porta potties. That's $100 for porta potties. $1,000 for light towers because we have to light up the walkways. As if you know, it gets kind of steep in some of those areas. We have to have light over there. So it's estimated 77,000. Option 3 is just like doing the opening ceremonies, maybe doing the like contests that we talked about that we mentioned earlier on. Is about, I just said 5,800. It's 300 for trophies, some staffing. To like put up the big flag, have people there, maybe the American Legion can come out. I gave an estimate for somebody to come in and do the national anthem, but maybe we can get somebody to sing it. I can sing it for free, I just don't know if y'all would like me to do that. But $300 for that. That would be about $5,800 just to do like 5K opening ceremony to commemorate the day. You could do all 3 of the contests. There is another option, but for the weekend before the 4th, and you could do a drone show and fireworks show on June 27th. And if you did that, it'd be like 50,000. We need a stage and some sound, some fencing, light towers, but that would be like 101. So if the council decides to do one of these events or a combination of them, I would recommend that you take it from the Economic Development Reserve Fund. Again, it's drone show for 164, firework display for 77, 5K ceremonies for 5,800, or like drone firework for 101. Or if you want to do the full-blown thing, I would just estimate 180, which is what we would budget. However, I don't have the big stage anymore, is already gone. We would have to go with the smaller stage. I don't know about the entertainment. Finding Friday is available, so if that's something you want to look at. But I would just give you, if you want to do what you've done in the past, I would give you a budget of about 180,000.
Well, are we just looking at this one July 4th because it's the 250th? We're not looking beyond that? Yeah, like what we're going to end, you know what I'm saying? That's what yeah.
Conversation. This is like how you're going to handle, like right now I'm looking at, I always tell my daughter, you know, is it a today problem? If it's like we need, so this is the today problem. The conversation came up at town hall, whether or not y'all should have something because it's the 250th. But hearing the comments at the 4th, if you go back and listen to the comments at town hall, I don't think those people were saying just because it's the 250th. I think they want to continue it as an ongoing event. Now, if you take a look at your budget and what you spend your money on, you really should be spending your money on like 50% of your needs, 20% on your wants, the remainder on your quality of life, and you're kind of almost flipped. Like you pay a lot in your parks, you'll pay a lot in your library, pay a lot in your pool. Not that those things aren't important. They're very important to your community. It's just a matter of what are you going to fund first? You've got your emergency services, you've got your city infrastructure, you have your water. And so the question always comes up like, it's not all about the money. I agree. It is not all about the money. You have to provide important things to your residents, but they're not free. The items are not free. And so they do cost. So 180,000 is 2 cents in your or close to 2 cents in your property tax. That's half of an ambulance. That's 3 police cars. So when you put it in those contexts, that's when I have those conversations with you, which we had during the budget process. So if you're looking at making this an ongoing event, it needs to be considered as part of your operating expense. And how are you going to fund that with your property tax dollars, your sales tax dollars, your franchise fees, all the revenues that are coming in for that year? Because remember, I did the capital plan for y'all, and I added $300,000 to your capital plan that you would gain that every year in your reserve. So if you're taking already $180,000 from that $300,000 that I was predicting that you're putting in to offset and continue to pay for the 4th of July, it will just make that number go down quicker. And so if you're going to look at this as a long-term ongoing operating expense, you need to have that conversation in your budget conversation. This particular event, if you want to do it because it's the 250th, then the recommendation is you could do a budget adjustment from your reserve. We are kind of trying to figure out staffing. A lot of people had already submitted vacation because this is the first 4th of July they thought they weren't going to have to do. And so we have approved 4th of July vacation time for people. I mean, people are taking trips. People had planned to go see family. And so we're going to have to contract out for some of the security. We're going to, so that's kind of also another issue.
Well, Something that's not up there that we used to do way before we did all of this fancy stuff is we just did something at the community center. But we had a parade. It would be at 9:30 in the morning, and then everybody would gather at the community center, and we'd have speeches and like a band and food, and we were done by 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we
So-
didn't really have a band, but we had face painting.
Well, I thought we had a band one time.
Bouncing.
Yeah.
No, you had a band as part of the parade. They played in the
Oh, and
parade,
then they came over.
They paid
Okay.
for like one song and then they dispersed. But and the only reason I know is because that used to be my event I was in charge of when I first started working here. And so yes, we used to do that. Now it probably costs you about $10,000 to do something like that. My fear is you've outgrown that space. Like, people are coming for the 4th. They don't know that you're just going to do a small little thing in the morning and you're going to flood Veterans Park and it's not going to go the way. That's my fear, is that, you're not going to you could do it. I'm not saying that you can't. We can make an attempt at it and see what happens. That would just be my fear. And the parade piece is it's not like it used to be.
Well, I'm not really advocating a parade, but I'm just saying what we used to do. We used to do the parade, but, I don't know.
Bring it back to a small little event.
I think this is such an important 250th. I think we ought to emphasize the Constitution and, registering voters and stuff like that. So anyway, I don't know. What do y'all think?
Is it too late to get any donations or anybody to help us out?
You're going to be sure. We sent out letters already telling our big donors that we weren't going to have the 4th, and if they would like to donate to Earthwise Living. We haven't received donations from those individuals. Some have come into the Earthwise.
We just got one,
But
yeah.
you have to look at these companies, Manuel Rubio and some of them, their business isn't aligned with Earthwise, so they probably aren't going to submit to Earthwise, but they could have already dedicated those funds. We don't know the answer to that. I don't know what that looks like. So you may get some money to offset this, but I'm not proposing, I don't have time, we don't have a big stage, so you have a little stage, I can have maybe a DJ with some speakers, but we've done that before and we got a lot of complaints that you can't hear the music. We can search to see if we can find a bigger stage to put entertainment on it. It's just, once you start doing that, then the number for personnel goes up because I have to have people do crowd control. There's other things attached to entertainment. And so I was trying to keep it to since we're kind of late in the game, can we compromise a little bit? I thought I was going to have overwhelmingly fireworks. I didn't see that in the online and or at the town hall responses. There are some people that don't want the 4th of July. We had Ms. Hody.
Mary
Hoyt.
She's concerned about the fire.
The fire
in the natural area.
and the dead trees.
So do you have people that love the 4th of July, that support the 4th of July, but I get just as many complaints as I do get people in support of, and most of the complaints are the people that live around the park because they're parking and blocking the street, they leave trash. So either way is fine by us. I just kind of need some direction because if we're going to do an event of some kind, then I need to book the fireworks. I need to make sure I can wrangle up enough police and fire department to be there. But we're willing to do whatever. If you want to do the whole, we can attempt it. All we can do is attempt it. So if you want to do the whole thing, then I just feel like we had lots of conversations about the 4th during the budget session. And I made the comment during budget session a few times, please, don't, make the decision now because changing your mind later is so much more difficult. And I pleaded with y'all during those conversations when we had them for this particular reason, because it's so late in the game that I don't want people to be disappointed either. They're expecting this big event and I can't pull it off or we can't pull it off like that. And then people are disappointed of what we put together because it's last minute, so.
Okay. Yes, Councilor Marsh.
Well, I'm not in favor at all of this June 27th because nobody would even think that's related to the 4th of July and we wouldn't have the attendance. I am worried with Mary Hoyt about the fireworks and the fire danger, even though it's professionally done and you have the fence to fence off the area and all of those kinds of things. I mean, if we're doing something small, I think I guess I don't understand the drone show going up to 164 when on the other page there were
So that's what I said, so
Yeah.
you could do, so that's supposed to be 90,000, I apologize. You can change that 130 to 90, but the drones would look like this, like it's not, like, they're 300, that's why she put a picture here, they're 300. When you see the big elaborate ones, like from Houston and Dallas, you're talking,
Talking
you
a
know,
whole lot more.
500
Okay.
plus drones for those
Okay.
kinds of big ones.
I kind of think the drone idea is kind of neat, and it takes the worry out of the fire danger.
You still need fire, so it doesn't necessarily.
No, I'm not the fire department, but the natural area being at such a high risk.
Yes, it does lower the risk, but there is risk, and I'm gonna say it wrong, but he told me the battery, lithium, something could fall out of a drone and, you know.
Okay.
I mean, there's some inadvertent way that something could catch on fire, so it's not 100% foolproof,
Guaranteed.
but
Okay.
yes, it does lower the fire risk over fireworks, absolutely.
I also wanted to say, I agree that we've outgrown the community center because after the Christmas tree lighting, when people went in to hear the choirs and stuff, that place was packed and there was standing room only and nobody could do anything but stand there, you know? So I agree that we've outgrown that space.
Well, it
So-
wasn't inside the community center, it was on the Veterans
Yeah,
Park
it was
lawn,
outside,
and we had
yeah.
some face painters, like, underneath, like, the porch areas, and we had, I think, a bouncy house, and we had some, like, little games, and then we had, like, 1 or 2 food vendors, kind of like Earthwise. But we would end it by 1 PM. We'd start at 9 and we would end, I was done by noon, 1.
I would think that if the fun run could somehow, end at the community center, I don't know, go through the community.
So you're talking, so we've done the variations of the 5K
Mhm.
causes, then I need to bring in more public works for barricades, that's a whole other situation. But you
But
don't have to.
Time it to where they can come from there to the conference center,
Right, so you
community
could do
center.
the 5K run, and then the events at the community center, like face painting or come get barbecue or I don't know what y'all are thinking. At the community center, say at 9, the run usually ends about 9 or 10.
Well, actually, it starts at 7:30, and it's usually out, a lot of people are done by 8:30, but I'd say 9.
Yeah.
So you could do,
It's
like-
only 5K, so
So
it's
you
3
could do a
miles.
little 9:30
Yeah, so,
thing at the community. I don't know what you want to do over there at 9:30, but we could hire some face painters and balloon
I just
makers.
don't think people are going to come to the Shadow Mist as many people would show up for an opening ceremony there. Do you know what I'm saying? But they might at the if that's what the council's leaning towards, so I don't know. Yes, go ahead.
But if you did have something later on after the run at the Veterans Park, you could have your speakers there, you could have, somebody sing the national anthem, you could have, talking about the 250th anniversary. And I do like the children's activities because I think that would be a valuable thing. And, as we've talked before, so many of our patrons to our 4th of July celebration don't come from Leon Valley. They come from San Antonio. So if it was something a little more Leon Valley centric at the community center, focusing on our kids and, our families, and then you could invite people to bring a picnic and have a picnic at the
You could do
at the park.
picnic at the Veterans Park if that's something
Yeah.
y'all want to do. So you could do the 5K, end at 9. We can start, instead of calling it opening ceremonies, you can just call it ceremonies at Veterans
Right.
Park or ceremonies at Picnic in the Park, or I don't know. You can come
Yeah.
up with a tagline and do something like that there if that's something y'all want to do. Again, I think it was like do nothing or do the fireworks is kind of what I heard. So
Okay. Let's hear from other people. Counselor, go
Thank you,
ahead,
Mayor.
Orozco.
I went back and after some of the comments that were made at the meeting, and the comments that Bradshaw did was nothing compared to some of the comments that I got from my ex-employees that live in Leon Valley. And then now those were,
Did you say ex-employees that live in Leon
well,
Valley?
I have a lot of ex-employees that live in Leon
okay.
Valley. Yes.
Thank you.
And their comments were very, very rustic.
Rustic?
I think, I look back and I looked at the pictures that we took way back then, and the fireworks, and we had to wear to 23,000 people here, and then right after COVID, we had about 10,000, 11,000. Well, I think Leon Valley really makes a difference when we do put on the fireworks. Yvonne and I left early last time because, it was kind of hot, and but as I was going home, there were people not only in the park, but on Bandera, on Huebner, on Evers, at the public service office. And I was thinking how big of a difference we make in the 4th of July. One of the things that was mentioned at the meeting, that it is the 250th anniversary of our country. And as you always know, that I always give credit to our men and women that died for this country at the 4th of July. And I did ask some of the people that had said no before, and they seem to change their mind as well. Say, how can we not have it? Because you don't only make a difference for the people of Leon Valley, but you make a difference for the people in San Antonio, our surrounding areas, the restaurants that they come in. I like, for me, my recommendation is to have some type of fireworks, something tonight, where there's something like the drones. I've seen the drones. One of the most fantastic drone shows that I've seen is the University of Texas, especially when they beat A&M. I'm not getting every response from it. But all jokes aside, the University of Texas has an amazing drone show. So I would love that if we can do that at night. And I think that they can go on for at least 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, God, you're looking at 9 or 10 minutes.
Under 10?
You're looking at like 9 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
Is that all?
Yeah, at the most,
For 90,000?
Well, same thing with your fireworks. Your fireworks cost you just as much, and I think they're 15 minutes at the most.
I thought it was 15, or maybe 20?
No, 15 minutes.
15
minutes.
15
Last
minutes
time we were about 20 minutes for the fireworks.
I thought it was 20 minutes.
But now with the 250, everything's so much higher.
Oh,
All the
okay.
drone costs are higher.
Yeah.
Everybody's on the tight.
Mm-hmm.
tight
Okay.
Tight schedule. So, again, it would be a smaller show. You'd have longer show with the fireworks if that's something you choose to do.
And Dr. Cadell, can you go to option, was it 2, where you had the fireworks for 40,000? Which you had the fireworks, the fencing, I understand. But what I did not see there, could we have a DJ?
No.
No?
Well, and that's my problem is we tried that the year we came off of COVID, and you can't hear the DJ over the
22.
fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's just a lot of complaint. You have the DJ for nothing. When you start adding music, alcohol, you allow people to bring in their own alcohol, I need to increase PD. So by shortening the time span, I was thinking if you just shoot off the fireworks, park opens at like 6, we shoot off the fireworks by 9, fireworks are over, people leave, and then I'm only paying for a little bit of fire and a little bit of PD, not an all-day event for PD and all-day event for fire. So the longer the park is open, the more hours people have to drink, because you're allowing them to bring in their own alcohol. And so once you have music attached to that, it becomes a different kind of event. And so you can do it, we can bring in a DJ, and we can, again, you're turning it into what you want it to be, so change the price tag to $180,000. Like if you want it to be that, what you did last year, then vote to do the full event. Like I can't piecemeal it, because then it's not gonna flow right, and then we just get a bunch of complaints.
But we don't have a stage, so we can't do it like last year, right? That's what you said.
Finding Friday will fit on the small stage.
Yeah.
That we were quoting.
Yeah,
So
I
see,
don't
there,
know.
you've got that limitation.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
so yeah, you have some limitation, not to say that we can't hunt around and maybe we'd get lucky and we find a stage somewhere, not through the same company. But again, I mean, I had a week to put
Well,
numbers together.
I would like to have the fireworks, and
Okay.
and how you mentioned, we start about 6 o'clock, have the fireworks at 7 or 8 o'clock.
Oh, no, it
and
has to be
then,
dark.
I definitely would like to have something now.
Maybe like 9:30. I was thinking if you open the park at like 6, so people can get their spot, 6 or 7, and then we shoot off at like 9:30ish is kind of, I think it's when sun kind of goes down, and then it's a 15-minute show, and then we disperse after that.
But we need to tell people that there's nothing.
Right, yeah.
There's no food booth, there's no music, there's no nothing. You have to wait till 9:30 for the fireworks. So
Right, and
that's
so
what
you
they
may
want
get
to
less
do.
people, you may get people, a lot of people, if you pay attention to the number of people that come into the park, they don't come in at the heat. A lot of them start falling in when the sun's starting getting ready to set
Mhm.
anyway. The other.
Well, why don't we open up, if we're going to go that way, just open it up at 8?
Or you
open it
could-
at
I
7.
can't,
Or 7.
your park isn't like.
Well, that's right, it's open 24/7.
And so
It's not
I'm-
open
I'm-
sun up to sundown.
Right,
yeah.
but I'm estimating, knowing people, that people aren't gonna wait till 8 or, some may, but some people are gonna start showing up and I need crowd control, so I need officers there. Probably starting around 6 or 7. And then maybe people realize we're not having a band, we're gonna have fireworks and, maybe, I don't know. But I do need to, whatever y'all decide, I need to start communicating it out. Again, I'm not turning down the $180,000 idea. I'm just saying we need to know now what direction
Okay.
you're gonna go in.
Thank you, Mr. Roscoe, for your comments. I appreciate it.
ma'am.
I want to hear from the dais on this side. Counselor Heil.
What about food trucks? We can't do that?
No, so here's the other thing about food trucks.
Man,
So
we
like, it's so late in the game, like I could possibly pull some food trucks, but then I'm dealing with health inspections. I gotta call in the health inspector. We already told him we weren't having the 4th of July. I've gotta make sure Public Works gets out enough plywood for some of the things. We gotta make sure electricity's there. So then I gotta call the electrician there. I can make them have a generator, but then we have to make sure that they're not leaking gas and stuff. So fire has to go out and do the inspections on the food trucks, not just the health inspector. So it becomes, there's added components when you start adding. That's why I'm saying, if you're gonna wanna do that, shoot for the 180 and then we just have to strap it and say, okay, we're gonna try to move forward. Like y'all wanna piecemeal it, like let's just do food trucks, let's just do, once you start adding pieces, you might as well do the whole event. And so, my issue, and the other big issue is, with the food situation, is they rip up the park. And the other thing with the stage was like during the 4th, y'all saw the park. If y'all remember prior to us doing the 4th in the park, the grass used to look green, it was beautiful. We had sprinkler systems, soccer fields. When we started doing the 4th in the park, they break the sprinkler systems no matter how much we mark them and we try to get them around. They rip up the park, so we stopped really kind of caring because it rips it up every 4th. So that's also like we were hoping to get the park back to its glory days by not putting all of the stage and the extra equipment that comes along with that and the food trucks to bring all that greenery back into the park, because we can't do that when we keep, it drizzles at least one day out of the week and you rip up last year it was pretty bad. You ripped up the park pretty bad, so.
Okay. Counselor Campos. No comment? Counselor Bolton, okay.
No,
All right. You don't prefer one over the other? Okay.
I'm having a hard time spending that kind of money.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
We've got so many other things going on.
okay. Counselor Campos, thank you for that.
So, I pulled up last year's fiscal impact that came like a couple of months after, it might have been in September that we got this update. And, the cost of, at that time, and I'm sure it's higher now, the cost of the setup and the staging was almost $49,000 just for the stage, okay? And the entertainment was $28,000. And so, that's a big number. I agree that I would be in favor of having some type of celebration, but what kind? I've heard from residents that they felt like we've been in a drought for so long, the risk of fire is so great. So, in trying to publicize that there's no food truck, this is just a picnic, okay? And maybe it would be worth some type of a drone event. It's not going to last as long, but.
Would you say 6 minutes?
No, what was it?
Well, we could get, go back to the drone.
Yeah, I just don't think it's worth that much money for
So
that little.
Skyworks was probably the most reasonable. I can pull up his email real quick. I want to say 20 minutes, but don't quote me yet.
Okay.
For the 90 or the 120?
For Skyworks, let's see here. 15 minutes. fully choreographed, but I will need sound and stage.
Oh, yeah, we need some.
You need sound and stage?
Yeah.
Because you drone
Yeah.
show, you need music, it
Mhm.
tells a story.
Yeah.
How do you tell
Mhm.
the story with no sound?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we did small sound and stage. Guys, you know, I pleaded with y'all in the beginning. I really did during
Well-
the budget time just to make because when we do it late in the game, does make it a little bit more difficult for us. Staff is here. We're willing to do whatever y'all want us to do. I just want y'all to keep in mind, you know, we're gonna do the best we can with whatever direction that you give us.
Yeah. Well, I'm still for keeping it simple, and I think we can have a nice gathering at the community center, but I think I'm in the minority, so that's okay. And we could have maybe a small jazz band, you know, we could afford a little bit, you know, but I don't know. To go to the, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Is Hal Burnside available?
Oh, yeah, they probably are available, I don't know.
The
I'm
problem
not sure.
is that then we'd have to have a stage. And
Oh,
then-
no, not with Hal, yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
You've got that.
Yeah, I don't.
Anyway, but I just can't. Anyway, going to the park to see the fireworks with no music, and I mean, you know.
Well, the fireworks are loud, so
Yeah.
so here's the thing. I will say, like, the last few years, the staff feels abandoned. Half of y'all go home, y'all don't stay for the whole event. A lot of the members that live in Leon Valley they go home to watch the fireworks because they want to beat the traffic of the people that don't live there out. So that, you know, it's kind of one of those things where, like, we're there from 6 in the morning. Some of us are there from 6 in the morning till 1 in the morning. It's raining, it's hot, it's whatever. And everybody else that lives in Leon Valley that we're doing this show for is going home in their air condition and barbecue and their families and stuff. And the people that are in the park are San Antonio residents. So we're working for this event. I mean, there's a few, don't get me wrong, there's a few Leon Valley residents that stick around. But they come for the fireworks. They're coming for the last 2 hours of the event. And so,
And music.
and the music.
Mhm.
And so, again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do something. I'm just saying, like, we have to look at this from the perspective. We gave y'all the numbers last year. The majority of the zip code people that are going are from the area, but not from here. They're from 78238, 78240 coming in. And Mr. Orozco makes a valid point. There's people along Bandera and Evers. Well, why do you think that is? They don't live here. So, again, it's kind of one of those events that you are doing it for another community, not to say that we don't use San Antonio amenities. I'm sure many of us go to San Antonio events, and so we use their amenities as well. But we just need more of, like, if you want to do the fireworks, then that seems to be the most cost-effective. But yeah, I mean, we really wouldn't have music per se. We can look into getting a DJ. But again, when
You can't hear 'em.
we try, because the fireworks are so loud. And so with the drone, there's no boom. And so you can have a DJ. You can do a little bit of sound with that.
Yeah, you can, maybe an hour ahead of time, and of course, when the fireworks start, turn them off, go home, for an hour or an hour and a half before.
So most DJs, they have a minimum. Like, even my police, like, when we contract out for police, they're not coming for 30 minutes. It's a minimum contract you're signing for 4 hours.
Right.
And so your DJ isn't coming out for 30 minutes or an hour. And so when you start saying we're going to play an hour before the fireworks, I got to make sure that there's staff there to manage the people there listening to the music the hour before the show starts. And so, again, it's not undoable. It's just, you just have to take a look at this cost and
Yeah.
a DJ and
Okay.
stage needs to be added.
I was just wondering if there's anyone in their chambers that would like to weigh in on what do you think we should do? I'd like to hear from the residents that are here. Mr. Blackmore, do you have, and Ms. Valdez? Love to hear from you. What do you think?
My name is Richard Blackmore. I'm a resident of State, Texas. I think it's a waste of money. I really do. Go down to Woodlawn Park, sit down there a few streets from Woodlawn Park and see other fireworks there. Or you go to SeaWorld, sit on 151 and watch the fireworks from there. Now, I believe in fireworks. I believe in celebrating the 250. City can't afford it. You're spending $24,000 on Memorial Park for the veterans, and I'm a veteran. I'm a life member of VFW. I'm a life member of the Legion. I'm a life member of DAV, and a life member of the Security Police Association. It's a waste of money. If we don't have the money, don't do it, period. Another way, if you want to have fireworks, invite all these people to buy all these illegal fireworks and have them at that parking lot by Rimkus with the fire chief and the fire department standing by and let them fire off the fireworks at 9 o'clock. That's one way of doing it.
You mean they bring their own? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No matter how much we
Yeah.
have in our fire department.
But keep it out of the neighborhoods, subdivisions. Keep my cat calm.
Okay, well,
So,
thank you for
that's all
those
I gotta
comments.
say.
Do
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right. Ms. Valdez, what do you think?
The hard decision.
Yeah.
I know that the people in my community that I've talked to and what I've seen at the town hall meeting, that they really value the fireworks. But I think that I kind of agree with him that, families can know ahead of time, okay, nothing's happening in Leon Valley. I'm going to plan my own barbecue picnic or go to the cabin up in the woods or whatever and just make other plans. And I think that might be the safest decision, especially with the concern about fire risk. We certainly don't want any disasters. So that's just my thought.
Okay, thank you for that. Do appreciate it. Anna, do you have anything that you'd like to add? Yeah, might as well. Come on in. Thank you and welcome.
Well, since it's the 250th, I do think that the citizens are going to expect it to be what it was last year. I think that when they're going to come in and they're going to see something that's a smaller scale, they say, well, it's this special year. Why didn't we have that? And so it might be a letdown. They're going to be surprised that Leon Valley didn't do anything bigger, so maybe not have one.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think we have let them know through
We've
the
been
budget
telling
that
them.
we're not going to have anything, and then we said, well, we need to have something just because it is the 250th. So that's, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, again, I provided y'all several different options. I think if you go
Well,
in
thank
and
you for that.
do-
Really appreciate it.
No, I
So
don't.
I'm going to leave it up to my colleagues.
So-
What do y'all think? Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Campos.
So maybe it should be something that very simple there at Memorial Park, just something during the day. There are not going to be any fireworks, just a small celebration to commemorate the 250th anniversary of forming of our country. Maybe that's the solution, because it gets quite pricey.
Yeah. Yes, Counselor Mersch.
I agree that we should not spend this kind of money on the fireworks or the drones or the music or stage or whatever. I'm in favor of having something small at the Veterans Memorial after the 5K run, even if it's just, everybody singing the national anthem together or, having a patriotic talk or, something along those lines, and having a few low-cost kid activities or whatever, so we can say we did something, but it can't be compared to last year, because I agree with what you said, that anything we do that's not the same or bigger than the previous year is going to be a major letdown. And we have been telling all the citizens that we're not having anything, so they can make plans to go to Woodlawn Park or wherever. So, but I think it's reasonable to have some celebration dedicating our 250th, celebrating our 250th anniversary. And if it's during the day before it gets hot and, that kind of stuff, that's, I think, the best compromise where we're really keeping our costs as low as we can. But 77,000 and 184,000, which we know is going to be more because we're going to have fewer donations. So I agree, that's a lot of personnel costs or a lot of equipment costs or whatever. that's just really hard to justify. And some people are already upset that we raised the tax rate, and then we're going to go spend it on
Right.
something frivolous that's over in a day. So.
I'd like to see us use the money.
Counselor Bolton, go ahead.
I'd like to see us use the funds that we are going to spend on our citizens, on the people that live here, not on entertaining people that are coming from the other cities, honestly.
All right. Anyone else? We could have a speaker. I keep saying pass out the Constitution, the little pocket ones,
It doesn't have to be a big thing.
it doesn't have to be a big thing. Yeah, flags. Yeah, I don't know. 15 cents. I don't know how much those cost, but they don't cost much. But I think it's important. They're free? Okay, they're free. All right,
Well,
that's
and-
even better. Yes, Counselor Mersch, thank
Even
you.
encouraging all of our citizens to put a flag in front of their house
Yeah.
on the curb. I think that's
Decoration.
very visually impressive in any neighborhood where everybody has a flag on the mailbox or a flag on the curb or whatever, and it looks, nice to, everybody did the same thing. I think even if we give out little, I don't know how much those little flags cost or whatever to put in your front yard, but, that's another way to do it too.
During COVID, we had citizen, it was a volunteer effort to put flags up and down Evers. It was very nice because we didn't do anything that year because of the COVID.
Yeah, so if y'all want to make a motion and a second for like a small community event at Veterans Park, then I can put together some numbers and some ideas for that, kind of idea and bring that back to you.
Is that the consensus for most of our, I don't know, Mr. Roscoe? He wants the fireworks.
I mean,
Okay.
I really want a vote on record.
Oh, I
I'm not-
understand. I understand. I was just trying to get a unanimous vote, but I don't think I'm going to. So, okay, yes, Councilor
I'd like to
Marsh.
make a motion that we have a smaller celebration at Veterans Park focused on the community with minimal cost.
I'll second.
All right. We have a motion by Councilor Mersch and a second by Councilor Campos to plan a smaller event for 4th of July at Raymond, at Community Center at the Veterans Memorial with the city manager giving us some cost at a later time. Any further discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, go ahead.
I just want to let
Councilor-
the council know that something's better than nothing, and whatever the council decides to do, I will back them up.
Okay, all right. Anything else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
The motion does pass, 4 ayes and 1 nay.
No, you had
Two
2
nays.
nays.
Oh, I'm
Betty
sorry.
and Mr. Roscoe.
Oh, you were a no. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Okay. So 3 ayes and 2 nays. Oh, that's close. Okay, thank you. All right. 3-2. All right, thank you. All right, so we're going to the announcements. Very briefly, because I know it's late, it's 10 minutes till 9. I just wanted to thank the City Council, the staff, and the citizens, and our presenters for participating in the 16th Annual Town Hall meeting. We had in person about 40, and I don't know how many we had online, but very informative, and I look forward to looking at the overall survey results. Dr. Caldera, I know you'll give that to us.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I grabbed the ones I shut down
Yeah.
the survey today,
Yeah,
but grabbed the ones for
exactly.
today for
For
this
today.
particular
That's-
PowerPoint. Yes,
But
ma'am.
we had a whole lot
Yes,
more,
yes,
so I
yes,
look
and I
forward
will
to
bring-
that.
yes,
But
ma'am.
I did thank the out-of-town, the TxDOT and the TDEM presenter. I did send them a thank you note as well. So I want to thank the staff and Dr. Caldera for your organization of the event. It was, I think, pretty good for not being on the day that we said it was going to be, and we had to postpone it. So today, they started early voting at the Conference Center for the March 3rd primary. I think everybody knows that. And the March 7th, of course, we have our 36th annual Earthwise Living Day, and we're working feverishly on it. I think it's going to come together pretty well. We're going to have a lot of, we'll have entertainment, and we'll have the door prizes with the HEB gift cards, Spurs, and mission tickets. And, thanks to all of our sponsors, including the city, the Earthwise Living Committee, and Crystal Miranda, who's our staff liaison. So Again, we still have some more planning to do, but I think it'll be great. We also have a conflict that day with the Basura Bash, so some people might want to clean up, and that's from 8 to 12, and you meet at the HEB parking lot if that's what you prefer to do. Or if they finish at 12 and you can come over to Earthwise until 1. We've had several mentions tonight about the drought. I don't know if y'all saw that huge article in the Express News on Sunday about the drought. We're in a 7-year drought, and the drought in the 50s lasted 7 years. This seems to be going further, so they don't know if this is the new normal, but anyway, pray for rain because we really, really do need it. I did reach out to the Leon Valley Historical Society. I just wanted to let you know that, the board president, and they're going to be meeting on Thursday to see if they can give us some dates on when we can reconvene our meeting. So I didn't want to let you know I did not forget about that, and I just haven't heard back from them. So anyway, that's it for me for right now. Is there anybody else that would like to? Yes, Councilor Campos, go ahead.
Just very quick, one item that I have is just to remind our citizens that our fire department has some medication disposal envelopes at all the city buildings. It's to keep our medicine out of the landfills, and please don't flush your medicine down the toilet because it does affect our sewer system, because at the end where they're cleaning the water, there's aerobic organisms that are in there eating our waste in a certain way that you can potentially kill them. And it harms the community's sewer process.
Excuse me, can I just add that the fire department will be at Earthwise and they will have those envelopes. So just want to let y'all know that. So, okay, go ahead. Thank you. Go ahead. You have anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Councilor Heil.
I was actually looking on the website today, and it's amazing all the things that the fire department does for the city with your batteries in your smoke detectors. If you don't have one, they will try to figure out somehow to get you one. And there were a couple other things. It was really good. People need to go on there and take a look. That they do a lot for the community. And the other thing, this is just something personal. I got a new dog this week.
You did?
And actually where I got her was off the euthanasia list in Seguin.
In Seguin? Okay, is that what you said? Uh-huh.
She's
Wow.
8 pounds. She's a wild one.
Oh,
But we
boy.
love her. So
What's her name?
Bree.
Bree. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Did you have something, Councilor Bolton?
Yes, I wanted to, earlier in the meeting, when we had the citizens to be heard, there was a statement made about the swimming pool costing us $800,000 with the match grant that we have, and that it's only making $30,000 a year. I just want to remind everyone that it's probably been 45 years since the pool has been resurfaced. So take that $30,000, multiply it towards the years, and we're not spending as much. It doesn't look as bad when you look at the bigger picture of how often the pool has to be redone.
Okay.
And it does add to the value of life for our citizens. So I just want to make sure that it weighs out a little bit.
Right.
Even though I do know that we pay a fee to have it run, I do understand those things, but the time that it takes, or the time that when we have it resurfaced, it would last, who's to say that we wouldn't recoup more? So.
Okay, all right. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yes, Councilor Marsh.
I'm going to add to that and say the investment in the pool, either the operation of the pool or the maintenance of the pool, is never meant to be a money-making event. It's never meant to break even. We don't expect to break even on our streets or on any of the other infrastructure. And in my mind, the pool is an infrastructure piece for our community. And there are so many children in our community that's where they spend their summers. And I think it's worth that. So I think it's kind of a misleading to say that it only makes $30,000. It's not meant to be a money-making event, so.
Okay, all right, thank you for those comments. All right, anyone else? All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Dr. Caldera, you're next with the city manager's report.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So just to kind of respond to the questions earlier, yes, we did have 2 PD cars totaled, but we have insurance for that. They're covering a portion. The remaining portion will either come from unspent funds, as we've had conversations about, or I will come back for a budget adjustment. But they wouldn't come from your general fund dollars. They would probably come from a different fund in order to cover the police. So I want to make that clarification. The other thing is the cost of the repair of the pool is a one-time infrastructure. You're out of compliance. And so you don't get your money back at the park, right? You don't charge a fee at the park. So you invest in your infrastructure. And so when I have the conversation with y'all about your capital expenses and your future needs, that is a piece of city property you own. So you have to invest into the property that you own to make it compliant and safe for the community. So I just want to make that clear. There was a question about the ED and the advisory committee. I know Elaine left, so hopefully somebody will pass on this information. So when you look at the Economic Development Advisory Committee, y'all changed the role, and so they were supposed to operate as needed for policy-making decisions. And the big reason for that was just taking a look at the 3 years that they were in operation. They gave out $107,000 in grant funds and literally got back less than $40,000 because they were giving money to businesses that are no longer here, to signs like at the Tuxedo Place, to different businesses that didn't make it past 3 or 4 months. When we took over, we've done 3 demos. We've added you have your Gold's Gym that's being redone. We've added a sandwich shop. We got Rufus's Coins back. We've taken down the We Key building. You now have Little Caesars and are able to have 2 other sales tax generating businesses onto that property. And so when it's internal with staff and you're not being dictated, unfortunately, sometimes committees just go round and round and round and then they don't land on a decision. The sign code is a good example of that. They spent months and months and months and then they ended up having staff do it, and then we came back and then council made the recommendation. So again, it's one of those things that when you have a committee and you have people presenting to a committee about funding, the committee doesn't want to turn people down. And so we become the bad guy. When we get requests for let's replace our sign, we're like, okay, how are we going to get that money back? So everything we do with ED funds, we make sure there's a return on our investment. And so signs may be a good thing, and for businesses that are going to be here like the aquarium, maybe they're going to be here another 10 years and it beautifies that piece. That could be, but for like a small mom and pop to pay for a business and then go out of business in 3 months, you never received your return on your investment. And so I think the council at the time when they reviewed what the committee actually did or the grants or the funds that they were putting out didn't equate to what we were doing internally. But we do have, I'm going to get an economic development director on soon. We're going through applications now. I will send out an email to y'all to see who wants to participate in those interviews. Hopefully somebody that hasn't participated in interviews in the past. If y'all would like to do that, you can sit in on those interviews. And then we can get maybe a new perspective from somebody and maybe get some new responsibilities for the ED Advisory Committee. So if y'all want to pass that on to Ms. Valdez. So I just want to make that clear. And then we will call to ask the developer to wet down the dust at Seneca West. Thank you.
Good. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you very much. Consent agenda item 9.1 to 9.4. Anyone want to remove for discussion? If not, may I have a motion and second to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilor Campos and a second by Councilor Orozco to approve consent agenda items 9.1 through 9.4 as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion does carry. The regular agenda, we begin it at 9 p.m. 10.1, discussion and possible action of a resolution adopting El Verde by 2030 plan for environmental sustainability for the city of Leon Valley. And we have David Emmeline back.
Hi, Mayor, I just
Works
want to,
Director.
so David, you don't have to go through, because it's a long presentation, because it goes through the history of it. I just want to make it clear, all we're doing is extending your 2025 to 2030. It's got 20.
But we could extend it to 2036.
35, 36.
You know what I'm saying?
You could do the date.
That's what I was recommending.
Yes,
I think we
but
need to do it longer.
His presentation goes over the strategic
understand.
goals and all of that, and there's not really a need for that because you don't have that right now. So all it is really just extending your deadline to become El Verde, instead of El Verde by 2025, 2030, 2036, whatever that is. So just go to the purpose slide and then they can have their discussion.
But as far as adding ideas for each one of those goals, can we get that to you?
You don't have those goals anymore.
Oh, we don't have
No,
any of
those
those
are,
goals
no,
anymore?
ma'am, you have new goals that y'all have already adopted. You have
Oh.
new council goals. Go to your very last slide. That's why I knew there was gonna be confusion. Go to your very last,
Yeah,
the
I
very last
just-
slide, Miranda.
I liked all those goals.
You
I was
don't
going, "Oh,
have
let's
those,
add it.
you don't
Let's add
have
this,
those
let's
goals.
add
Those are
that."
your old goals. Your only new goal is environment.
Oh.
Remember, we cleaned up your goals. Those, and so that's why I'm saying he's gonna go through all those old goals that don't exist anymore. And so your goal now is to promote a cleaner, healthier, more sustainable. So this resolution is in support of that goal.
Did all of that. Doggone it. Okay, that's okay. No problem. Go ahead.
So that's it. Do you want to extend the resolution?
So the
So-
resolution is, our city manager said that, so we changed it to 2030, it was 2025. And then the only other recommendation that we had on that resolution was a lot of the larger cities in Texas, for the carbon neutral goal, they've extended that to 2040 and even 2050. So what we're saying is just to make that a goal, to strive for that, but we're not putting a date. We're not recommending to put a date on that,
Okay.
other than the resolution for 2030.
Okay.
The El
All right,
Verde
very
by
good.
2030.
All right.
And then
Okay.
I was going to add that we are closing in on the goal for 10,000 trees. We're about 720 trees short, and we anticipate making that in probably for sure 2027. So we'll reach that goal as well.
Okay. And can always make another goal. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, Counselor Mersch.
As a new person, can I ask the question, are we subtracting all the dead trees or are we just
Yeah, so there's
planting trees?
No, so we got to calculate. Melinda has a calculation. So anytime somebody comes in for like tree mitigation removal, it's all on a spreadsheet. I've sent it to y'all in the past in a city manager's report. I'll get you an updated one and send it to you. So we do subtract trees as we add trees, and so she's got a whole formula set up.
I can send you that update.
But is that just trees that developers take down for construction, or is that trees that we've lost on residences
No,
and
we
stuff?
don't count. There's no way to keep track of that.
Yeah.
There's no way to know. But we keep
That's
track
huge,
of the
even
yes.
in the natural area, the amount of dead trees is.
Yes, so we only
staggering.
keep track of what we take. Well, we can't really.
But
keep
what
track of
we
all these
know
results.
has been taken down
Yes.
by developers.
Yes, and then our goal was the goal was the planting part, which is the 10,000 trees. But Melinda her calculation has the developers that have come in and asked for a tree removal variance.
Okay, very good. We have a comment. Mr. Bowl, did you want to comment on this agenda item?
Thank you, City Council and Mayor. It's going to strike you what the next few words would be, but I would suggest you not extend this resolution. And to that degree, the City Council, over the last several City Councils under this mayor, has seen fit to roll back the sustainability, eco-friendly initiatives that have been put in place in other parts of our city policies, to simply say we're extending our El Verde plan to promote a cleaner, healthier, more sustainable future goal to 2030. I find that hard to believe after what was just passed in the consent agenda, that the mindset of the council being that we no longer need the function of the Chapter 15, the PDD language, simply because we have no more land to develop is false. Because in the future, when we have the land that we currently have redeveloped, knocked down, whatever the case may be, this city will change again. We need to ensure that we have those very same policies that ensure sustainability, ensure eco-friendly initiatives, ensure that we are cleaner and safer. And y'all just rolled that back not less than 4 minutes ago. So I don't see why you would be extending this. It's kind of
Still
hypocritical.
has a
in my
minute
view.
and 30. I'm just raising my hand to speak next, so I can clarify.
It's a little hypocritical to me in that view. I know it's pretty hypocritical to the rest, some others in the city, especially those of us who will be here into a longer future than some others. We will have to see to this. And while I supported this based on the behaviors of the council and the councils before, it just should be consistent that you not extend this and maybe let a different mayor and a different council decide to reinstitute under new and stronger policies in the future. Thank you.
Okay, yes, Dr.
So I want to make
Caldera.
it clear, y'all did not get rid of the sustainability. You incorporated the sustainability as part of your Chapter 15. You didn't get rid of it. You incorporated it in the chapter. As far as the PDD goes, it's just a flexible zoning district. You didn't cancel a zoning district. You still have all the available zonings available to you. The removal of the PDD got rid of a flexible zoning, so you can make sure that you are sustainable and putting something in place there that the council wants without the extra variances, because that's what was happening, was a bunch of variances. So I just want to make that clear that we didn't get rid of get rid of the sustainability overlay. We incorporated, because I don't want that.
Okay,
kind of
very
spread.
good. Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate that. All right. Any other questions, comments? And so we do need to vote on the resolution. So may I have a motion from the council?
Mayor,
Yes, go
I'm going
ahead.
to make the motion that we adopt agenda item 10.1 as presented.
Second. We have a motion by Councilor Campos and a second by Councilor Orozco to adopt agenda item 10.1 as presented in resolution form. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Moving then to agenda item 10.2. This is the first read, so we will not vote. Presentation discussion on amending Chapter 11 Taxation, Article 11.05 Short-Term Rental Occupancy, tax to add a requirement of permit number listings and address identification. And Dr. Caldera is going to present. Thank you. And
Good evening,
welcome
Mayor
back.
Council. So this was a previous discussion, the 2 council meetings ago, I was going to say the last council meeting. And I'm bringing back the short-term rental tax occupancy ordinance. And what we're going to do is we're going to add that addresses and permit numbers be a requirement before they're allowed to post that short-term rental on their site, and then require a permit number before listing. So those are the 2 big changes that we have on this ordinance. It just ensures compliance. All fees are still the same. It's council discretion. So that's basically it.
I just wanted to, City Attorney, is that something that's in line? I mean, other cities have this provision, so we're good to go on that? Yeah, okay, because I know that short-term rentals have been controversial in the past, so I just want to be sure.
The big thing is like when we get the check from, let's say Airbnb, it's just a check for the short-term rentals. What we're asking them in the ordinance I presented is to list how a detailed, not an invoice, but detailed accounting of, thank you. My brain stopped working at 9. A detailed accounting of the money that's coming in to ensure that all of the short-term rentals that are in Leon Valley, that we're receiving those sales tax dollars from them.
So that means they're going to have to register
So they
first
have
in
to
order.
register, the idea,
Yeah.
so the idea of this ordinance change is to kind of force people to come in and do the registration with us, so that way we know how many short-term rentals that are here, and then you have a 200 feet block face rule, and so you're not supposed to have multiple short-term rentals on the same block face within 200 feet. So it'll also let us know who's out of compliance and where we go from there. So it'll be like first come, first serve is how we've been handling that, and so.
Okay, very good. Yes, Councilor Campos.
I just had one question. I agree with this, and hopefully we can move this to the consent agenda for next meeting. But we talked about, currently we were using only Airbnb requiring, and what is it,
VRBO.
Okay, and I think, wasn't there 2 more
Yeah,
mentioned?
so there's bookings.com and Expedia. So this ordinance isn't vendor specific. And so we had sent it to the legal team of Airbnb and VRBO. We hadn't sent it to Bookings, and there's one Leon Valley resident that's on Bookings that's not on the other site. So you'll gain one more booking from there. And Expedia is showing none, but I don't know if I have a membership or like a account with them, if it'll pop more. Like you need an account, and I just didn't sign up for that. So, but what we'll do is we'll send the ordinance to all four. I haven't sent it yet. I wanted to do the update first, and then I'll send it to all four, the two as an update and the other two as like a new ordinance. And then hopefully we'll see what that generates.
I knew it wasn't going to be, the four companies, but I was just asking just a general question. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Okay. And so as Councilor Campos has requested that we put this on the consent agenda for the next meeting, is that the consensus of the council? All right. Thank you. So we'll make a yes on that.
Yep.
Okay. Agenda item number 11. Do we have any members on the dais that would like to address future agenda items? Please state what they are. Councilor Campos, you're
I
up.
have two, Mayor. The first one is I want to get back to updating the city manager's evaluation form. We all received, the evaluation form, and when we last met, we thought, hey, we need to update this, and so I'd like to bring that back for discussion with my colleagues.
Is the form itself, Art, an executive session item, or do they have to discuss that in public? Because it's just the form, it's not them evaluating it.
Yeah, that's gonna be an open session item, unless there's like a specific, unless we need to specifically draw something out in there that you may want to think about this or that, but generally speaking, the form's gonna be an open session.
Okay. And then the second, if we could get an update on maybe the economic development incentives that we currently have outstanding. And I was wondering, one of our biggest properties, that was in our community was Taco Cabana, and they shut down. And I don't know if we've started any.
We do. We got some stuff. Again, guys, with Roca leaving, I love to be able to do all things, but we are in conversations with them a little bit. We have people already come in, submitted requests for plans and permit numbers, and so we have somebody interested in the property. So we are in discussions with that. I don't like to bring out stuff too early. It looks like the Carl's Jr. probably sold, and so once I get an affirmative on that, I'll let you know what that looks like. Again, we try our best to kind of, with kitten gloves, move through some of these, but I do have some ideas for the new ED director. When Roca came on, he did accomplish all his goals. I had Gold's Gym on the list. I had the Wee Lounge. We had the 3 dilapidated vacant buildings here, and he did an extraordinary job getting those main goals that I wanted to see done. And so I've got new goals for the new ED person. And so we are moving through economic development. Economic development is slow. The idea that you're going to get Trader Joe's and all of that, you kind of need to move past that a little bit. Some of the larger chains are know Bandera Road, know that that's coming. We have conversations. It's an open conversation. So you're not going to get a whole lot, you're not going to get Mickey D's because they know they're going to wait that out a little bit to see what the R-cuts are going to do. So that is part of the conversation. You're going to be focusing more on your niche businesses that people don't mind taking the R-cuts to come around to go see. If it's more complicated to get to Whataburger, you're just going to go to the next Whataburger. So your focus should be on niche businesses that people have to get to no matter what. And so that's going to be the goal of the new ED person. So,
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I just wanted to make a note that in our audit tonight, the economic development has $1,085,925 in
and then
the
I'll
fund
give you
at
a
the
breakdown
end of-
because some of that is dedicated to the projects you've
But
already
still,
agreed to.
we've got a
Yes.
healthy, what I was going to say, healthy balance.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
Yeah, which is important.
I think, like one of our other municipalities in the outlying areas, where's,
Live Oak.
Right,
They
that
get
they have,
$25
like-
million a year in sales tax, I think.
they're-
Because they have IKEA and all that other
Economic,
stuff.
and they
Yeah.
saved up, what, $5 million? or
Yeah,
what was-
so in order to recruit IKEA, they saved up close to 5 to be able to put down for IKEA to get here. So when you're looking at big box stores and colleges
The
and
room and
land and all of that, you have to have money to make, we spent a lot on the aquarium to come here, but they generate, I can't say the number because it's illegal, but they generate a lot of money towards your sales tax. We've given grants to like NAPHIDE, and NAPHIDE is a high generating sales tax business. And so when you're looking at bringing in companies, you want to make sure that if you're giving a grant fund, that you're going to have that return on your investment. But you do need, for larger companies, like if we have the Tricolor, large piece of property, if we wanted to do an expansion on the aquarium, or you wanted to bring in something else there for the, you need money to be able to do that. We wouldn't have been able to get the aquarium here, not to say the aquarium's the best business, but you wouldn't have been able to recruit the aquarium without having money saved in that account. So, yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Counselor Marsh.
I know I'm playing catch up and this may be a moot question, but wasn't there discussions about the city taking ownership of the Zarzamore Creek in front of HEB? Could we get a status?
Art, no, we just did it. He just gave me I got the invoice for that.
Right, well, the issue is that we've attempted service on that property, but we're unable, we've been unsuccessful in trying to get service on it. The property is in, well, it's bankrupt, or it's, I mean, it's just not a property anymore, so we're trying to secure an alternative method of service.
Okay.
Where you just put it on somebody's door and they're served. Yep, that's
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Counselor
Mayor.
Orozco.
I didn't want to add anything to the agenda, but I wanted to ask you, I know that you have to put in a request to get the monument done. If you can give me some type of estimate, keep me abreast of how it
Oh,
develops.
yeah, we'll get it, we'll start putting in the order tomorrow, Dave Demeline. Just
I'm
tell him.
gonna meet with American Legion on Thursday and give them an update of what's going on, and I would like for them to participate among other people as well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if we line everything up, we could get it for the 4th. Like if, I don't know, like timeline, like you could do it for if we're gonna do a small event there, you can do a
could
whole.
dedicate it.
Dedicate it that day on the 4th and, do the whole 250, like since we're not doing the big hoopla, then you could do, hopefully we can line up, do a ribbon cutting for the monument type
That'd be
thing.
pretty cool, okay, yes.
So that's kind of what I have in my mind. I just don't like to shoot out all my ideas just in case I can't do it.
Okay, yeah, and we'll see who we can invite, what organizations.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Maybe a good dynamic speaker. Anything else?
Again, this is not an agenda item, but I'd love to get an update on what's happening with that new car lot, Vin Con Alex or whatever.
So I don't have an update. We reached out. He's got the property. He's got his sign up. They
They
don't.
finally started putting cars up on the lot, but it still doesn't look open.
Yeah, it's probably, they don't have a requirement to be open. I mean, they don't, I mean, they own the property, they file a permit, they don't have a requirement to.
And then Tricolor
Tricolor,
closed. and-
Tricolor closed, that's the next kind of pet project we
Big
have,
property,
yeah.
yeah.
Car
right.
dealerships, as the mayor knows, are a little bit more difficult to
Yeah.
fill, so.
They are.
But we don't really want car dealerships because we don't get anything out of them, right?
Correct, and so we like aquarium projects, we like little go-kart projects, so we've got some ideas that we're gonna try to
How
finagle
about
out
a
of there.
putt-putt,
I would love a
I think people love putt-putts, and they're not, too expensive, maybe, I don't know. But we'll work with the new economic development director. Is that my retirement plan? Okay.
All right.
All right. Is there anything else for the good of the cause? Okay, 9:19. We move to adjourn without objection. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening, and we'll see you on March the 3rd, our next city council meeting. Good night. Thank you.
Sandra texted about a second was needed for Compos's request.
Okay, maybe not.
Well, I hope you get some good sleep tonight.
Yeah, it's been a very difficult week.
So sorry for it.
Thank you.
Hey, Ray, will you second really quick Compos's ED?
On.
Oh, my gosh.
You went back to Longhorn Country?
The promised land, you mean? The land of milk and honey. Land of milk and honey. You go back. Yeah, I have. Careful.
All right, guys, you have a good time.
Have a good evening.
Philip.
I didn't even need my sweater. It's amazing. I usually need a sweater when I'm in here.
Take care now.
And I
Take
just
care, have a good night.
need it.
Señora, ¿cómo está?
I have a question for you, Crystal.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I haven't talked to Letty recently, but when I ran into her, she said she wouldn't mind volunteering at Earthwise, even though she didn't want to be on the committee. Is it appropriate or non-appropriate to invite her to the next meeting if we're going to be signing up for volunteer or talking about staffing volunteers, or?
Yeah, she could always attend a meeting, right? It's open
Just as a
open to the,
citizen?
yeah, it's
Okay.
open to the public, and I'm gonna post it, we're gonna have a workshop, so it's a discussion.
Okay.
It's not gonna be action items,
Okay.
and so she
So
might
I
feel
can
more
just let her know
comfortable.
about it if she'd like to
Yeah,
come.
we're gonna have a
Okay.
roundabout table discussing the event,
Okay.
logistics, and so
Okay.
you're more than welcome to come.
That answers my question perfectly. Thank you.
If you lease the property.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it's different than. You might be able to.
Keep in touch. Yep.
That was probably.
I'm just giving you.